good morning. So much for, boy, we have been teased with such beautiful weather, and it's all kind of going away a little bit. For a little while, anyway. In studio this morning is Beth Irons. Beth, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Okay, so we have a lot to get into, and school boards. So everybody passed. What was the vote? What was the total on Rome, city of Rome, Davey? Because Rome is the only one that the budget didn't pass.
It got rejected. From what I seen earlier this morning, was 51 to 49.
Wow.
So it was close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, that is that will be very difficult. I mean, they'll come up with another proposal most likely and represent it.
I wonder what the sticking point was.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody in Rome wants to pipe in. Everybody else passed. I don't see anybody else that has rejected but Rome. And then the other big news is that thorn in the side of the Utica School District Board, Howard Potter, has won finally his race. He is going to be on the board. And now he gets to find out how little he can accomplish by being one member on the board. It's going to be fun.
And then he can experience these luxury meals that they have during the school board that he criticized.
He'll pull a Gandhi, and instead he'll lie over the railroad tracks. I'm not eating. I'm lying over the railroad tracks. Okay, interesting. So, and maybe it won't be today, but maybe we can try. We'll get the Rome superintendent on and talk about. I'm assuming a contingency plan is already basically in place, but they're going to have to do some trimming and represent the budget. Although you're saying the number was pretty close, 50 to 49, 51, 49.
51-49.
Yeah, that makes sense based on the math.
And of course, the other big news yesterday is that out in Otsego County, Gordon Woody Mowers.
That's big. Yeah.
Yeah.
The judge threw out his
appeal for his
appeal. And I'm drawing this one off the Sentinel and KTV. Yes, the Supreme Court judge in Otsego County has rejected his plea to throw out his. Basically, he pleaded guilty and to throw out that verdict from 1996. He is currently serving a life sentence for killing his parents, Gordon and Susan Mowers. The court denied Mowers' motion to vacate his 1996 conviction, according to KTV. In January, the judge heard claims Mowers was 18 when he pleaded guilty to the killing of his parents. He has never denied killing his parents, but said that based on everything that occurred, the abuse, there was sexual abuse that he claims occurred, and that he was given a deal that included cash in order to plead guilty, and says that that was an unfair deal and asked for a stay on his
he pled guilty through coercion.
Through coercion,
Yeah.
It was like $10,000 at the time, and money that I don't think he ever really even saw. But at the end of the day, he remains in prison now. One of the problems I think that he has is he's tried to escape. There have been some fights. So it's not like you're dealing with excellent
ideal prisoner.
Prison behavior, yeah. So that's an issue as well. Also, here on a positive note, I know for Romans, the budget has been rejected, but on a positive RFA note, Davey, did you see the golfer RFA golfer Rachel O'Rourke? In her pursuit of a second straight Section 3 Division I title, she had a bit of a rough start. She four-putted the first hole of Tuesday morning's championship at the Pompey Club, but it all turned up from there. O'Rourke shot one under the rest of the way, highlighted by an eagle on the ninth hole to finish with a 75 and claim the Division I title by 4 strokes.
Oh, congratulations.
That's pretty wild. Fayetteville Manlius won the team competition RFA girls coach Dave Petrelli said O'Rourke is his first golfer to ever win back-to-back sectional titles. To celebrate, she and the rest of the team made a trip to Nicky Doodles.
Oh, good ice cream.
For ice cream. There you go. That's how you, that is how you celebrate, I guess. What else this morning to kick off your Wednesday morning? Of course, a short week for a lot of people. I got to say, I feel really bad for those people tomorrow that are going to hitch up their campers and head up north or wherever to enjoy a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. The weather looks terrible. Maybe we salvage Memorial Day. Yeah. Everything else looks. We might even have a day where we don't get out of the 50s in there. So we'll give you the full forecast coming up. Did you see the story? And I'm going to tell you, I'm a nut about this.
Two things again.
Yeah, two things. In most cities, whenever they have air vent grills that you can walk over on the sidewalk and manhole covers, and and getting out of elevators, because if the elevator gives way and you're getting out, it'll decapitate you. So I always try to get out quickly. I'm off.
Okay.
And the woman got out of an Uber, stepped on what should be a stable, sturdy manhole cover, and it gave way and killed her in New York City. All she was doing was stepping out of her Uber. She was 56 years old. She fell into an open maintenance hole and died, according to police. The woman parked she was getting out of her own SUV right next to the maintenance hole near the corner of 5th and 52nd, 5th Ave and East 52nd Street in Midtown, and fell in after exiting the vehicle shortly before 11:30 p.m. And they're saying it's not a situation where she was unaware, she was on her cell phone, she wasn't paying attention. You just expect those manhole covers to be sturdy underneath you. And it wasn't.
Wow.
It either wasn't sturdy, and I think it may have already fallen in. That's possible. Or it fell in. The other area I get nervous on is escalators.
I just saw a video of a guy who got caught up in there with like a piece of his clothing got trapped, and he ultimately was killed.
That's really bad.
It gets ugly underneath those steps.
Yeah. Oh, well, in this case, he was on top, right? It was just pulling him. What was it? Was it his like shoelace or the neck area?
But there's so many gears and stuff in there that can grab onto things like that, and it just pulls you. It's like trying to pull you through a sieve.
You got to move quickly. If it catches you, you got to get out of there.
The story was, and I don't remember exactly where it happened, but the guy got caught up there, and I don't know exactly how he was killed. Obviously, a piece of his clothing got caught, but like people just kind of went around him, like
Yeah.
Like somebody,
there's an emergency button at the top. You just hit that button, and it'll stop it.
Like somebody dropped, a bag of food or something. We're just going to walk around this and keep going like nothing happened.
That's terrible, but it does. Did you see the name of the company that Utica's using on their those security cameras is Flock? Like the
yes, I believe similar. So. Originally, I think it was Shot Spotter, and I think now it's Flock.
Surveillance cameras powered by artificial intelligence sparking controversy in Albany, or Troy, actually. Leaders there are fighting over Flock safety cameras, which police say use AI to read license plates and track down criminals. So this is a little different than what Utica is using it for, but maybe not. Maybe a little closer than we think. Opponents, the Democratic Council there, has a problem with data collection, privacy invasions, KDILO, and potential use by ICE and immigration officials. According to the Times-Union, all Democratic City Council members challenged the mayor, who's a Republican, but now the mayor has pushed it forward and has declared a state of emergency in order to keep them in place. So,
what's the reason for the state of emergency?
Crime.
Look, I understand the security concerns. I mentioned that on the program yesterday. I can understand it, using it as a notification system when there is a potential life-threatening situation, a.k.a. shots being fired.
Yep.
Right. But I have to be honest. We talk about this all the time. It's like, how much of your freedom are you willing to give up in exchange for safety? And this whole thing about reading your license plate, I mean, I know we're going to get pushback here. I'm going to get pushback here from listeners on this. But like, your registration is overdue, so you get a ticket in the mail because you waited an extra 10 days before you went down to DMV.
That's not happening yet, but...
Well, didn't you say that it's reading license plates?
It does read license plates.
For suspended licenses and things like that?
That's not necessarily happening as of
No,
yet.
I'm not talking about the city of Utica, but
it's already
in general, we're on the brink of like a robotic enforcement, whether it's a traffic speed... this whole thing about reading an expired tag on a license plate to notify the police. I'm sorry, I'm not for this.
Well, would you be for it if there was well, first of all, you're on the roads. It's a privilege to drive. It's not a right. That's your first, the first argument that they will have. Secondly, there's a little girl that has been abducted, and there's a camera out there that catches the van that she was pushed into. They now know where the van is going, and they actually saved the girl's life.
Again,
how much are you willing to give
honestly, up? In that situation, I'm okay with that.
Here's the problem.
I can justify that. We saved a little girl's life. Yeah, I can justify that.
Here's the problem is I think I'm not as bothered by cameras being everywhere, and I kind of feel like that's just the way it is now. I mean, and if it's not cameras on public property, it's ring cameras on residential properties. So I guess I'm okay with that, depending on what we're going to do with it. Like so on construction zones, I think there should be a sign that says video camera. We're not here to be catching people, are we? Or are we here to slow them down? Are we trying to catch them and find them, or are we trying to make them drive safer? And as long as we're trying to make them drive more safely, then putting a sign up and warning them, slow the heck down, because there's going to be there's a camera, and if you're speeding through here, we're going to catch you. And that becomes not a mark on your license because of the legalities of the whole thing, because there was not a due process, a police officer there to actually witness it. So it becomes a fine, and it's on the registrant of the vehicle, not necessarily the driver, because how would they know who the driver is?
Right, that's a good point. And there's another element to this where I've heard...
So there are some limitations in all of this.
There's some pushback from police unions, essentially, because why do you need cops then? Why do you need state police on the thruway if it's all going to be robotic? How many jobs is that going to cost?
Yeah. So you're on the KDILO side on this issue?
It's not that simple, but I recognize there is a privacy concern. Okay. Absolutely.
On the program today,
again, you gave the example of an abducted child. Okay, now what's the difference between?
I'm just throwing that out there.
No, but I think that's a fair example to give, right? Because it's like, well, so Jeff, are you saying that it's okay that if we don't use this technology, and let's say something horrible like that happens? Well, we could have stopped it or prevented it or something if we were using a higher level of technology. I guess I understand that. And I just said, the shot spotter thing I'm kind of okay with, because I think it registers as a
catching
life or death situation. But again, when you talk about people having the ability to hack in, and even if it's not just a private citizen hacking in, it brings up the other question too. And I don't want to get conspiratorial about, we assume the government is out there to protect us in our best interest.
I think it would be a fair assessment to leave the hacking part out, because I'm sure that was an isolated incident where it happened. I would hope they've corrected it. They say they've corrected it. And listen, hackers can hack into your into ring cameras. They can hack. Any of that's possible. So, I mean, it's like saying, don't go outside because the moon could fall and hit you on the head.
No, I don't know about that.
But I'm saying it's one of those, what if? This could happen. This could happen. But the privacy part, I understand. At least I think that's more of a valid argument. There's different ends of the spectrum. You gave the child abduction thing, and I would be foolish to sit here
the father of a 10-year-old to say no.
But here's where you would say it's a slippery slope.
Memorial Day cookout. They saw you having 3 beers in your backyard while you were grilling, and now they see you go to a convenience store to go pick up eggs that your wife wanted or something, right? So it's like, well, we did witness you consume 3 alcoholic beverages. Now you're behind a wheel, and we're going to send a car out there to pull you over and do a blood alcohol test.
For the record, they've had an opportunity to use Easy Pass for a long time. How long has Easy Pass been a thing? And where they could get you from going from exit 34 to 34A and calculate your time that it took you to get there and calculate your speed. That's how you get a ticket on the canal, by the way. Going from lock to lock, if they time you and you show up too quickly to the lock, that means you must have been speeding, and you will get a ticket on the canal.
Right.
I've had one.
That doesn't exist that way on the thruway right now.
It doesn't. And so they've had the thruway. They've had that capability of doing that, but they have not done it. So,
well, I mean, I think, and this brings into the conversation AI, and it always comes back to 2 things in my mind. Everything that is put out has a pro and a con.
Sure.
And so you have to decide, are there more pros than cons? Are there more cons than pros? And that's a very subjective decision. The second thing that always comes to mind with me is, okay, so we're going to gather all this data. These cameras or whatever they're going to recording, the audio visual things. So we're gathering all this new data.
I don't think we're using the cameras in the same way that they're doing it in Troy.
Well, but
they say they're not.
But regardless, somewhere someone is gathering all these new little data bites. What are we going to do with them?
Yeah. Well, that's a big question in general,
and
right?
That could be a huge, scary question that somebody's going to try to answer.
Your iPhone, everything that you're doing is being tracked.
Don't be nervous about another camera being out there. Believe me, there are 1,000 cameras on you as you go through the course of your day.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
Yeah. Not to mention drones. You might not even know there's a drone watching from above, or as the president was touting the technology that we have. With the satellites, he said, we can look down, you'd be better at doing the impression, but we can look down on these Iranians and, whether it's one of the Mohammeds, there are many, many Mohammeds, one of the Mohammeds, and we can actually look at his name tag on his shirt. That's how good these cameras are from space. I invented Space Force. I invented that, and this is one of the things that we do. So what we don't want is that they're surveilling our own citizens.
I was going to say the surveillance states, and you can Google stories, and I don't have to try to pretend to be an expert on this, but I've just heard dribs and drabs of it in other countries. I want to say China, North Korea, known for essentially surveillance states where they kind of track you constantly.
Every move you make in China, every move you make, the Chinese citizens are tracked. Now, we probably are too, but it's happening from business, not from government.
Exactly.
So there's a lot this is going to be really, really an issue, I think, going forward as the technology gets better. Wait till those satellite cameras can see through your rooftop and see into a building. Versus, sorry, there's a roof there we can't see. We'll have to try to look through the window. Wait till that occurs, because I really feel like it's the potential of what these things can do is almost infinite these days.
Well, then the building industry is going to come up with a whole new wave of product that can't be penetrated.
My roof is made of lead.
Yeah.
Tiny Power's coming up in a few minutes. President Trump holds a Situation Room meeting Tuesday with top national security officials, Jeremy Rosenthal. And this, if you watched any of the Murdaugh trial on TV, you may have heard that his guilty verdict has been thrown out.
Yeah.
What is going on there? And is it that he has this hold on, South Carolina, wherever they are in the Carolinas? They were so powerful. He was so powerful. That family's so powerful. Is that why this happened? Or is it legitimate, and will he just get convicted in another trial? Mike Haydick Jr. is the Clinton varsity boys basketball coach. Let me say that again. Mike Haydick Jr. was the Clinton varsity boys basketball coach.
I think was he the girls' coach? I think he was the boys' coach? Okay.
And he learned that he will not be retained. His contract will not be renewed. And this is not the first one. Remember, there was a hockey coach, I think, that had the same controversy a few years back over at Clinton. There are petitions out there, people asking for him to be reinstated. We'll get into that. Beth, you're opening this weekend the public market.
First one of the summer.
Final public market.
The 30th will be my final. This will be my final summer launch.
Okay. So and then Beth
have one more week.
Is retiring after next weekend. But this weekend...
It'll be a short week, though.
Yeah.
This weekend, you're back, and it's outdoors.
It's outdoors, yep.
Okay. That's 9 a.m. until 1.
Till 1, behind the train station.
Saturday, behind the train station. And then Ryan Nobles from NBC, he's been all over. He was on Meet the Press. He is just...
he's a busy boy.
Yeah, in the Oval Office asking questions. He was at Manaski's house this morning. Gave him a ride in.
Had breakfast.
All right, what are you saying?
I gotta mention this last night, and I don't know who stayed up late to watch this, but the Knicks game.
All right, stand by with that thought. And by the way, Mike says, I think the first thing, you talk about meals at the school board meetings, I think the first meal that Howard Potter will be eating at the school board meeting will be crow. Quick break. Hold tight. Manaski has news as we speak.
Good morning, Bill. A bit cooler today than what we experienced for the last couple days, and we'll see temperatures falling, throughout the day, not too dramatically, but I believe our high today is 76 degrees, and we saw that at around 12:30 this morning. So right now we have cloudy skies and 69 degrees. President Trump says he hopes to end the conflict with Iran very quickly. Speaking at the congressional picnic, he said Iran was eager for a deal. They're begging for it, and argued the situation should have happened 47 years ago. Californians are calling for an end to Islamophobia after 3 people were killed at a San Diego mosque. The 3 adults were killed Monday when they kept 2 armed attackers from entering the Islamic Center of San Diego, which was full of children at the time. On Tuesday night, an interfaith vigil was held outside the mosque where the 3 victims were hailed as heroes for giving their lives to protect children. President Trump giving his endorsement to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton in the state's Republican Senate primary runoff. The endorsement gives Paxton a major boost against incumbent Senator John Cornyn 1 week before that state's election day.
That's very controversial, Rob. The Republican Party is very upset with that endorsement. They don't think that they feel they could be giving the seat to Democrats. But Trump had a big night. Everybody he endorsed won.
Minnesota is the first state to ban prediction markets. Governor Tim Walz signed a public safety bill this week prohibiting online platforms where people can bet money on the outcomes of events. Prediction markets get around local sports betting restrictions by selling bets as financial contracts, like commodity markets. And I believe Kalshi, Phil, is an example of this, something I've seen a ton of ads for lately. Meta's North American employees have been told to work from home today as the company announces layoffs for about 10% of the workforce. The job cuts come as the social media and tech giant incorporates more AI into its operations. And Nashville will host Super Bowl 64, the league announcing the Music City as the home of the February 2030 NFL Championship game. During an owners meeting in Orlando, Florida yesterday, the decision marks the first time Nashville will host the Super Bowl. The next 3 Super Bowls have been scheduled for Inglewood, California, Atlanta, Georgia, and Las Vegas, Nevada.
Where will the Bills be playing in this year's Super Bowl?
I don't know. John Madden? John Madden?
You think?
PlayStation, maybe?
Some bar somewhere. Watching from home.
Right now we have cloudy skies, 69 degrees. As I mentioned, we've already seen the high temperature for the day, but here is your forecast.
Chilly weather continuing to spill on in now as the front goes through and temperatures actually may hold. Near 70 are dropping to the 60s today with a few showers around this morning. Chilly night tonight, dropping to the mid-40s, mainly cloudy. North Country could sneak into the 30s. Thursday, clouds give way to sunshine, mid-60s. Thursday night, even chillier, near 40. North Country, probably some patchy light frost. Then sunshine, 70 on Friday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
As I mentioned, cloudy and 69. A quick comment here. There's also a case in Richfield Springs. This comes from Easy and Ilian. There's also a case in Richfield Springs where Chris Butler, longtime coach in Richfield Springs, that seems to be very odd, that should be looked into. Look,
where he's not been renewed?
Apparently.
Yeah.
I had a chance to meet Mike Haydock Jr., and he's a very nice young man. I was impressed with him. He seemed awesome.
You'll have a chance this morning. He'll be in studio.
Yeah, he'll be in studio. And I'll say this now, and I'll say it when he comes in. Look, I know that these institutions maintain the right to make decisions like this.
Correct.
It doesn't necessarily mean he did something wrong. It means maybe they want to go in a new direction. Maybe they have somebody else waiting in the wings that they want to give an opportunity to. Maybe they're not as happy with the success of the program as they wanted it to be, or maybe they said, you know what, 7 years is a long time, and let's get some rollover here. And that's not a knock on him, but I mean,
there have been also scenarios where somebody's kids weren't playing, and it became. I'm not saying that's the case here, but board members become angry. Somebody becomes angry. I
feel like it's like any other job. They can come in and say, hey, listen, we love Keeler in the morning, but you need to find another guy to do your news updates.
You serve at the will of the board.
Yes.
All right. By the way, yesterday, as we mentioned, in the Utica School District, Howard Potter, let's repeat it, Howard Potter is now going to will be sworn in June on the school board. He is going to be on the school board. I love it. By the way, the governor already stepping in.
This is Governor Kathy Hochul. Today, I'm proud to give the Medal of Investigative Honor to a great man in Utica who has already spent much time congratulating himself for all of the great work he has done. A man who single-handedly and quite honestly, so bravely, blew the whistle on Bruce Karam and Lou LaPolla, exposing their illegal activity as they stole from the children of Utica.
Allegedly, I mean, really.
Howard Potter, thank you for saving Utica's school district, and thank you for saving the children. Thank you for being there to get things done when no one else did anything at all. Please accept this award on behalf of all New Yorkers who thank you for being a hero. The award comes with this commemorative T-shirt with the words, Howard Potter, he's our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Screen printed on the front. Thank you, hero. In other words, thank you, Howard. You are the man.
All right, well, there you go.
Thank you, AI.
Oh, no, that's Kathy Hochul. I don't know what you're talking about. And then Richard said, regarding your new song, he said, regarding your new jingle, hold on, now we got to find it. Where are you? Okay, regarding your new jingle on Sangertown Square, it's too long, I hate it, and I think it's stupid.
Is that what he said?
That's exactly what he said. And here is, I don't know what you're trying to say. I'm disconnecting anyway, whatever it is. I'm against it. Is that short enough for you, Richard? Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Got to get him some assertiveness training.
I love Richard's honesty.
You know what it is, though? That's more of, when you often do these.
That is a song that I'm doing a video to that'll be on Facebook, and it's more of a memory type thing. It's not meant to be a funny song,
right? And that's the difference.
It's not a jingle either.
You
parody of a song.
Yeah, I say it's a parody.
Yeah.
A lot of your parodies, though, you either highlight an individual. Maybe I can feel one coming here with Howard Potter. But you highlight somebody, you criticize someone or something. You make
have a little fun with
an overall point.
Yeah.
And this one's more of a fun.
Yeah, memories of
like a reminiscence kind of thing.
Change the theme of a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for defending that. Richard hates it, however. I love his honesty. Here is. Look at the latest right now on the president's holding Situation Room meeting on Tuesday with top national security officials, and also has announced that he is pausing the attack on Iran because there seems to be some progress once again. Tanya Powers, good morning.
I don't know how you made Richard mad with that.
Oh, but, very upset. Very upset.
Apparently has some strong feelings about it.
He does. Hateful feelings, Tanya.
Oh
Very
my!
hateful.
Well, I didn't know you were so polarized, but
Yeah.
I guess you're just winning friends and influencing people all over the place.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yes, this was something that has been, wondered about. Where are we with Iran? When is this going to come to an end soon? There were a couple of developments that I will kind of put forth here. One of the things is the remarks that he made at the congressional picnic. This was yesterday evening, I believe. He told a crowd of Congress members and their families, they're going to end the war quickly, which is the thing we keep hearing. He says, it's going to happen fast. You'll see oil prices plummet, which would be great news for, I think, a lot of people who are stressing out more and more and more about the gas prices going up. He said, they won't have a nuclear weapon, and hopefully we're going to get it done in a very nice manner. I'm not really sure what that part means as far as how we're going to do this nicely. But this the political part of this I find very interesting. Stay with me for a second, because this is hours that he said this after the Senate advanced the War Powers Resolution that could, make him have to withdraw from, the Iran war.
Right.
There are 3 Republicans. This was the 8th vote that, the Democrats have pushed and, gone forward with the War Powers thing. The other 7, of course, went nowhere. The last one was notable before this one because you had 3 Republican senators who joined with the Democrats to vote to approve the measure to, stop this.
Yeah.
Rand Paul, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski. They were joined on the 8th vote yesterday by Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, who just got primaried over the weekend.
Yeah, just lost. Yeah.
Just lost. So, right, because, politics.
Yep.
And the thing I find interesting about this is, of course, you had Thomas Massie, who got primaried yesterday and lost to the incumbent. Of course, he has not been a favorite of Trump's. And it's going to be interesting to watch the political landscape from here until, the new members are sworn in, because the I've got nothing to lose club has got 2 new members.
And Cassidy and Massey, and that is very interesting. And I although I got to tell you, I find it so frustrating when, if you believe that the Congress should hold the power on whether or not on approval of war like this, then why wouldn't you vote for it? If that's how you really believe, Cassidy, why wouldn't you voted for it before? But now that you have nothing to lose, you're willing to vote for it. I find that very disingenuous. But you're right. The fact is, you now have 2 disgruntled Republicans who already have challenged the president. Who knows what that's going to mean going forward? Good point.
Yeah. One of the things that the president said was that he feels like, he was talking to reporters, I believe, yesterday at the White House, and said that, that the war is very popular. That he says people say it's unpopular. He says, I believe it's highly popular. This is polling to the contrary, to be honest. He is not getting great approval numbers with the war polling. The people, like the most recent New York Times Siena poll, has the wrong decision. Was it the wrong decision or the right decision to go into war with Iran? Wrong decision 64%, right decision 30%, which is kind of in line with the polling that we've seen. Yeah. Recently on this, that wrong decision number keeps growing. So it'll be interesting to see, kind of how those numbers continue to shake out.
However, in that polling, when you break it down between Republicans and Democrats, this is you have to be careful with this, because there are also a lot of independents out there that the number is quite high. But Republicans overwhelmingly support the president when it comes to Iran.
That's
Wait,
exactly
Republicans
what I was about to
or
point out.
MAGA? Republicans or MAGA?
Well, the Republican number, it's Tanya. It's over 70% support for the president.
When you poll them, they, at least from what I have seen, I have not seen breakdowns on these large polls like this where they say, "Are you Republican or are you MAGA?" Because those are 2 different things. So when you've got a split like that, it's all of the Republicans, everybody who identifies as a Republican gets lumped into the same category.
Yep.
And he's right. 70% of Republicans are, in that we support this in this same poll. I think the more telling, I mean, Republicans, for the most part, are going to be with Trump no matter what. We've seen this for, 10 years now.
Yeah.
That is not a surprise. The independents, who are the ones, the swing voters and the independents are the ones that put him back in office.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that I always pay more attention to. You got 73% of independents in that same poll who disapprove. They say it was the wrong decision. That is far higher than the overall poll of 64% that say it was the wrong decision. So those independent voters, to me, that's not a little slice, but that slice of the voters is the one I usually really zero in on to see.
We've all talked about, boy, is it time for a third party? Well, listen, we already have one. It's those independent voters and those who refuse to report where they are. That's a pretty big number. In fact, in New York State, Tanya, there are more independent voters than Republicans in New York State. They actually outnumber Republicans. So that plays a big role, especially with this race, the former Elise Stefanik race that we're dealing with up here. So it's going to be quite interesting. All right, Tanya, all interesting stuff. We'll see. And this is just beginning. The commercials are just starting. We're going to be bombarded with politics over the next 8 months. So buckle up.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Richard, honey, I hope you have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Tanya.
Coffee.
Thank you.
It's
for that.
okay.
Maybe you'll make him feel better. All right. Good stuff. You have a wonderful day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Tanya J. Powers from Fox News, giving a little shout out to Richard there. He should be happy with that. Do you have a time for me here, Davey? What you want me to do? Because I'm just going to keep going.
All right, well, I'll give you a second here while Davey comes that together. Did you see the Knicks game last night?
Okay,
Obviously,
you didn't
because we'd still be talking about it right now. They pulled one out of the hat last night. I cannot believe it. We talked about they were going to have more than a week off in between because the Cleveland-Detroit series went 7 games, and they looked rusty. And I thought game 1 was over. I thought there was no chance they were winning. They trailed by, I want to say, somewhere between 10 and 12 points to start the fourth quarter. My neighbor and I, unfortunately, stepped out to check the weather. I went out and had a cigarette, hoping by the time I come in, maybe they'll be down 5.
Yeah.
I come back in, now they're down 16.
Wow.
Now we're almost halfway through the fourth quarter. The Knicks were down 22.
And they came back.
And tied the game and then won by like 8 in overtime.
Wow.
I could not, if you're a basketball fan, Knicks fan, I mean, I could not go to sleep last night. I was so pumped up.
Boy, the Knicks are for real this year. And I've spent my almost, God, how long have I been here? 13 years. Crazy. I've spent this time hearing you complain about the Knicks every time I try, but now all of a sudden it's a different tune.
I spent the first 3.5 quarters of last night's game going, oh, man, I should have known. I didn't want Detroit because Detroit was the 1 seed. We were going to get this upstart Cleveland team, and they have James Harden, and James Harden seems to be, he's a guy who can do a couple nice dribble moves and shoot a 3 off his back foot, but really he doesn't play defense. He's not a contender. They bottled up the Knicks for 3.5 quarters, double and triple teaming Jalen Brunson. The offense looked smothered and rusty, and then all of a sudden, after going 4 for 23 from 3-point range, they couldn't miss a 3 in the fourth quarter. I mean, that was fun to watch last night, at least for Knicks fans.
So would you agree they started out a little rusty, but man, they
more
turned
than
it around.
Rusty.
Yeah.
And it wasn't started out. The game was almost. I cannot believe that. I think in the final 7 minutes they were down 22 points.
Wow. And they play next.
What's today? I think they play Thursday night, yeah.
River Hills Properties. It's all about lowering the stress level for you and any potential buyer. If you're selling your home, River Hills is there. This week, they're doing the grand opening of their Copper City office in Rome. They have offices in Barneveld and Little Falls, now in Rome and Newport. It's River Hills Properties. And remember, they're in Sarasota, Florida. So if you're thinking about something to the south, even part-time, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 9 plant protein bars, 8 hydration mixes, and 4 mushroom coffee sticks. And now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping when you text RADIO to 64,000. Text RADIO to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's RADIO to 64,000.
Something old is new in the village of New Hartford. Introducing Handshake Antiques, now open at 66 Genesee Street, next to Giorgio's Village Cafe. Not your grandma's antique shop. Think clean, curated, and cool. From high-end furniture, vintage fashion, vinyl records, to oddities and all things eclectic. And we're always buying, so look in your attic or basement. And if it's old, call Handshake Antiques. Plus, inventory changes weekly, so every visit is a new find. Handshake Antiques, where it never went out of style.
Clearing out your home or commercial building, John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation will handle it for you. We handle residential or any size commercial property, before and after estate sale cleanouts, or any junk removal service. John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation is a 5-star rated and background checked business, providing service you can count on, and we're fully insured in the industry. Call John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation today and take the stress out of your
WIBX Utica Road, W295 Utica. From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
A win for President Trump in Kentucky. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Republican he backed to oust the GOP congressman he doesn't like won. Ed Galrine defeated Thomas Massey.
It was a David versus Goliath. I was the underdog. I want to thank the president. I want to thank the conservative Republicans from this district.
And Galrine beat Massey by almost 10 points in the most expensive House primary race ever, with about $33 million spent. And Galrine will be the favorite in November in a strongly Republican district. Congressman Massey, who opposes the president's actions in Iran and voted against the big, beautiful bill, said after losing,
"We need to bring this country together. There's too much of the uniparty in Washington, D.C.
Last Saturday, a Republican senator President Trump wanted ousted, Bill Cassidy, lost a primary in Louisiana. The president's also backing a GOP challenger in Texas next week, wanting Ken Paxton to defeat Senator John Cornyn. Back to Kentucky.
Congressman Andy Barr won the GOP Senate primary. He was backed by President Trump and is seen as the heavy favorite to replace outgoing Senator Mitch McConnell.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. In Georgia, Congressman Mike Collins and Derek Dooley advanced to a Republican runoff in the campaign against Democratic Senator John Ossoff. The ceasefire still holds in the Iran conflict after President Trump put on hold a plan to resume bombing to let talks continue. Vice President Vance says,
"It takes two to tango. We are not going to have a deal that allows the Iranians to have a nuclear weapon. So as the president just told me, we're locked and loaded."
But Fox's Trey Yingst reports from Tel Aviv.
Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps released a new threat against the United States and Israel, warning that if they launch a renewed bombing campaign, there will be serious consequences for the entire region.
2 Chinese oil tankers that were among the many in limbo in the Strait of Hormuz for months in the Iran conflict that's halted shipping have finally sailed through. Oil prices are down this morning about 2%, but at the gas pump, another 2-cent increase today. America's listening to Fox News.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
Two American adversaries get together, Russia and China.
Mutual respect and strategic cooperation were among the buzzwords used by Presidents Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. President Putin telling his friend that relations between their two countries had reached an unprecedentedly high level. They signed more than 20 agreements on trade and tech and what they call a multipolar world. No specific mention of the United States, but there were comments criticizing unilateral bullying, which will be seen as directed at Washington. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Now, that meeting comes days after President Trump went to China, and she warned him about a potential conflict with Taiwan, which China considers its territory. Today, Taiwan's president said if he could talk to President Trump, he'd push for continued U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. The House Select Committee focused on China held a hearing on scams.
Michigan Republican John Moonar said that in 2024, Americans lost $10 billion to these scams.
They are part of a distributed ecosystem of fraud, human trafficking, cybercrime, and illicit finance.
Erin West is a transnational organized crime specialist.
This is not simply fraud. This is national security.
She said that Congress needs to treat it as such. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are rising modestly the day after a sell-off. In the NBA playoffs, a big comeback in New York.
Last year, the Knicks blew a 14-point fourth-quarter lead in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers. They lost the game. They lost the series. A little bit of a role reversal at one point in the fourth quarter of Game 1 of this year's Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavs. New York trailed by 22. Amazingly, New York wins 115-104 in overtime to grab Game 1.
Fox's Jay Berman. Cleveland and New York will play again tomorrow. Tonight, Game 2 of the West Finals. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
We have mostly cloudy skies and 68 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:05. This news update brought to you by Destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. State lawmakers expected to approve a 14th budget extender today to make sure that New York can continue paying its bills. Since missing the April 1st deadline, there have been more than $31 billion in extenders passed by the state legislature. The final cost of the state budget still unknown, but some officials believe it might be lower than Governor Hochul's $268 billion plan. The hope is that lawmakers will start voting on budget bills in the upcoming days. Utica police and fire units responding to Proctor Park off of Rutger Street regarding a young female in distress in a body of water there. It was relayed that several other juveniles had pulled the girl from the water after she went under. Officers arrived within moments and brought the juvenile from the creek bed onto the grassy area and started CPR. UFD personnel arrived soon after and took over, ultimately transporting the juvenile to Wynn Hospital. Emergency room staff were able to stabilize the child until she was taken to Upstate Medical. An updated condition may be released sometime today as more information is learned. But fortunately, it appears that first responders and those who initially pulled the young girl from the water were able to save her life. Local school board elections were held yesterday. All local school district budgets were approved. In Utica, Howard Potter was elected to the Utica City School Board. In Rome, voters selected Carvelli, Capone, and DeMatteis. Whitesboro selecting Henderson and McQueen for board members. And in New Hartford, it was Jadon who was approved to be a member of the school board. There is a recall at Hannaford announcing 2 products sold at its stores can be brought back for a full refund. The supermarket chain, which has stores across central New York, says its recall impacts Nature's Promise ciabatta rolls and Nature's Promise cheddar ciabatta rolls that may be missing the egg allergen on their labels. The rolls were available from May 10th through the 18th, and so far there have been no illnesses reported. Anyone who bought the rolls, can return them for a full refund. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:08. Your Weather Center forecast is brought to you by CSEA. There is no typical CSEA member. Their job titles vary, yet CSEA unites voices. One voice for fair wages, one voice for vital benefits, one voice for secure futures. CSEA New York, one voice for many.
Chilly weather continuing to spill on in now as the front goes through and temperatures actually may hold. Near 70 are dropping to the 60s today with a few showers around this morning. Chilly night tonight, dropping to the mid-40s, mainly cloudy. North Country could sneak into the 30s. Thursday, clouds give way to sunshine, mid-60s. Thursday night, even chillier, near 40. North Country, probably some patchy light frost. Then sunshine, 70 on Friday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, cloudy skies, 67 degrees at 7:09. Smitty, I'm going to read you this headline here. First, from the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk. This is the national headline. Knicks overcome outrageous deficit to stun the Cavaliers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. They trailed by 22 points with less than 8 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. The Knicks came all the way back, tied it to force overtime. Cleveland nearly had a three-pointer. It went halfway down and rimmed out at the buzzer nearly. It was still a second left. And then they take it in overtime, 115-104 to stun the Cavaliers in Game 1 at MSG. The Cavs will try to even that best-of-7 series at one game apiece on Thursday night. Meanwhile, Wednesday, tonight, brings NBA fans to Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals from Oklahoma City. The Spurs lead the Thunder 1-0. Following an epic there, a double overtime win for San Antonio. This headline in basketball stunned a lot of people. The Mavericks beginning the search for a new head coach. Dallas is moving on from Jason Kidd after 5 seasons in what the team described as a mutual parting of ways. ESPN says Kidd has 4 years and more than $40 million remaining on his contract. The new team president there said in a statement that he believes this is the right moment for a new direction for the team. Kidd helped guide the Mavs to an NBA Finals appearance in 2024, but missed the postseason in 3 of his 5 seasons as head coach. The 53-year-old had a record of .388 and .395 as an NBA coach since his retirement as a player back in 2013. Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice in custody in Texas after violating probation tied to his high-speed crash. Dallas County court records say Rice tested positive for THC and was arrested Tuesday. The court had ordered Rice to serve a previously issued 30-day jail sentence with a listed release date of June 16th. He's serving probation in connection with a March 2024 crash that injured other drivers during an alleged highway racing incident in Dallas. He pleaded guilty to a pair of third-degree felony charges in that case. As we mentioned, the NFL voting to award Super Bowl 64, that'll be in 2030, to Nashville for the first time. The games will be played at a new home of the Tennessee Titans, which is scheduled to open in time for next season. The Mets could not keep the momentum going last night as they lost in Washington 9-6. Nolan McLean was tagged with the loss. New York had won 3 straight and will continue their 4-game series tonight. The Yankees picking up back-to-back victories. They beat the Blue Jays last night 5-4 in the Bronx. Ryan McMahon went deep with a 3-run shot. Ben Rice got his, I believe, 16th of the season, a 2-run homer. That 4-game series also continues tonight.
Anything further?
I'm still
that
shocked.
Mets game, they were up 5-0, by the way. But it's one game.
Were they really up 5? I didn't see. I was so
5-0.
enthralled with the Knicks game, and I was really tears in my soup last night. But Knicks overcome outrageous deficit. I cannot believe they came back and tied that game and then won it.
Beth asked just a second ago, is that still going on, the NBA? That's still it'll be almost 4th of July before it ends. I mean, it goes through June. Through June, anyway. Mid to late June.
Yeah, I think around mid-June.
Yeah.
Because the next series is the finals, and the finals will begin before June 1st.
And I think
so it should only be 10 days, 12 days for that
Hockey is
series.
the same way. I think the AHL playoffs are still going on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So that all happens. Mike and Skyler.
And they take 4 days off, and they start the next season.
They start all over again. Mike and Skyler, I missed you yesterday. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. Yes, I wanted to comment something. There is something about the ABS I think needs to be tweaked, because I don't think there's a fairness between like who can challenge. So, like, in other words, the batter knows right away if it's a strike call. He knows, so he'll challenge within 2 seconds. And the pitcher, when he's challenging, the umpire on the field can see when he's challenging. But the catcher, they sort of have sometimes have a disadvantage, because number one, what's the catcher going to challenge? Catcher's going to challenge if it's the ball call, right? And umpires, when they call the ball, I don't think they always vocalize it, right? Because the strike you always hear. You always know when the strike is called. But then the clock starts ticking based on the umpire's discretion, right? And there was a game I was watching yesterday where both teams they challenge, but they're saying they challenge within 2 seconds.
Is this the Baltimore series?
Yes.
That umpire, it was Baltimore, Oakland. In my opinion, that umpire was wrong on both calls. I almost feel like there are some umpires who are kind of pushing back on ABS. So he was saying that the players did not get their challenge in time, and if you look at it, the umpire's just wrong. It was almost immediate in both cases.
Yeah.
I think he's absolutely wrong. And by the way, Brett Beatty the other night got called for a challenge for the Mets when he didn't even touch his helmet. There was a strike called, and he kind of almost like moved his shoulders and kind of put his arm up, and the umpire assumed he was going to his hat, and so he goes, "Oh, that's a challenge." And Beatty immediately said, "I never even touched my helmet."
Yeah.
And he said, "No, that's a challenge." So I think the umpires need to be better at this. There's also
and a player should be able to wave it off, saying, "No, I did not. I was scratching my nose."
Well, the problem with that is what you get is with the technology today, or the different perspective of the bench, is if a guy taps and then says, well, again, if you tap your head, it's different than going like this, wiping your nose.
Right. Well, apparently not with Beatty, though. He didn't touch his helmet.
He didn't even touch his helmet. No, that's an error on the umpire.
Yeah.
So
here we are. Here we are talking about trying to remove the errors, and we now have errors in dealing with the thing that's trying to remove the errors.
And technology races its ugly head again.
Yep, you're right.
But two things. One thing might need to change is because am I wrong that the balls are not always vocalized? They don't really say ball. They don't do nothing. They have that stance, but you always hear the strike. It's almost like I think they should vocalize balls and strikes all the time. That way the catcher knows, right?
But a player would know if he doesn't hear, if by chance he doesn't hear it, he's got to know it's a ball. Because usually a strike, you're going to know it's a strike.
2 seconds. You got 2 seconds, too. And then when they showed the instant replay on the YouTube, when the catcher's hitting his head, the umpire's not even looking.
Yeah.
And then he says it's too late. It's like that umpire really should be looking there right away to see if there's a challenge. So it's almost like I think that
Yeah, interesting. All right, Mike, we'll see where it goes. But one of the things, like the Mets, by the way, half of the team was playing minor league last year, so they're well versed on the whole challenge system because they've been doing it for a couple of years in minor league. So just a little Mets aside for you that you care nothing about. Okay, Mike, thank you, man. As always,
you're welcome.
You have a wonderful day. Go Apple. Okay, it's the one thing we agree on. Apple? Okay, thanks, man. All right, coming up, we'll speak with Jeremy Rosenthal, the Rosenthal Report. If you were watching any of this Murdaugh trial, there were a couple of documentaries out there, and it's amazing what this family got away with. And now his guilty verdict has been thrown out due to a technicality.
Look, we saw this with Harvey Weinstein. I think they're just he'll be retried, and I do think he will be convicted again.
We will we'll talk with Jeremy Rosenthal. Coming up next to WIBX.
The Memorial Day sale is on at upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer, Mattress Express. Get a prepaid gas card with your new bed, up to $1,000 gas card on select king and queen sets. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers. No credit check payment plans available every day. Any king or queen set in the store except Tempur-Pedic gets a free adjustable base upgrade. Free. You don't have to pay anything extra. Massage chairs get a $500 prepaid gas card. Folks, this is big. And no one in New York State has all the brands under one roof that we have. Their sale is our sale. Remember that. Bring in any locally advertised price on a brand we carry. We will beat the price. 14 locations across upstate New York. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS.
Start your savings at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Now through May 31st, get up to $170 back on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Don't wait. These offers end May 31st. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, or online at tallmanstire.com.
Our locally owned and operated small businesses are the heartbeat of our community. The WIBX industry aces stand out as leaders in their fields, like Scharf Plumbing and Drain. The Scharf family has been providing plumbing and drain services to the Mohawk Valley for over a century, offering many services, including sewer repair, repiping, water heater repair and replacement, and more. They're more than plumbers. They're a family dedicated to getting the job done. Support one of these fantastic industry aces today.
Veterans, you and your family know all too well the many hardships that challenge your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. The Good News Foundation invites you to a free fellowship group of veterans. This get-together is run by retired Army Chief Warrant Officer 4 Richard Smith, the author of Camouflage Christian. Check out Veterans for Worship the third Wednesday of the month from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Good News Foundation, sharing faith, offering hope, and serving others.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
If you've missed the Kim Commando Show, you've missed a lot.
You know, I just love taking your phone calls.
I want to start by thanking you for what you have given us on this planet. You have made technology digestible.
You're like my friend in IT.
Oh.
Only one person that I would like to ask this digital question.
America's digital goddess. Kim Commando.
Saturday mornings at 10 on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Coming up, Mike's free money question of the day. And today, Davey, it is worth $225. No? What do you say?
$250.
$250. Wow. Or as Davey says when he's playing DJ at the club, $250. $250. Right?
Let me go $250. I can go higher.
Oh, no. Please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm like Howard Potter when it comes to this. I'll dispute you, and
you are.
We can argue about it. But can we have a free meal afterwards?
Is it Ja Wick that is giving you big props on YouTube this morning?
I like this Ja Wick guy.
Yeah, and I think he says Ja Wick. If Ja Wick is a he, I don't know. Says hello, Beth. So hello, Beth.
Good morning.
Hello, Beth. Hello, Newman. Remember that? I never watched Seinfeld. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. That means they think out of the box. Your body plays a major role in your health, and you can make a difference. with or without medicine. Sometimes you have no choice. The meds, you have no choice. Other times you can reduce that with the osteopathic approach. And the Falcon Clinic can help. But it's more second opinion, they have you covered. Acupuncture, they have you covered. If you need a new primary physician, you're leaving the current primary, you want to know that, well, if I have a 2 o'clock appointment, I want to get in right around 2 o'clock. You can get that at the Falcon Clinic. Call today and schedule an appointment. They're accepting new patients now. Dr. Mattern, Dr. Kosminski, Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Shemileski, all under one roof. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills, 315-507-4751. Today, also, Davey, we're giving people a chance with the free money question. We're also giving you a chance to win Hall of Fame weekend boxing tickets at the Turning Stone for their boxing event. So get ready for that.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Pretty cool. Ladies and gentlemen, now.
The tickets are for a fight night. Is that?
It's a fight night, not just the Hall of Fame, but it's for a fight night at the Turning Stone. So check it out. We'll do that coming up in a few minutes.
All right. Well, that's a notification from Flock Spotter or whatever.
Yep. Apparently
there's a gunshot.
There's a gunshot. And now time for the Rosenthal Report. Jeremy Rosenthal on the line right now. Jeremy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Heading towards, we've had 90-degree weather here. It has been hot.
Monday was 93.
And that's a big deal for us, especially since it's been in the 50s and 60s. And today our high was earlier this morning in the low 70s or whatever. We'll be in the 60s today, tomorrow, maybe even the 50s over the weekend with rain. It's crappy here.
Overnight tonight, 45.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I'll take the rattlesnakes.
A little roller coaster in my Texas mind. When I hear that you guys are in the 90s, that makes me think that maybe the last bit of snow has melted.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In the lower elevation,
way to the north, in the North Country, you may still come across a little snow in some shaded areas.
The winter season or the snow season is becoming, as we joked, like the NBA and the NHL seasons.
Never ends.
It goes for 10 months. You get 2 weeks off, and then it starts again.
Right back. All right, Jeremy. This is something a lot of people, I would imagine, I know I did with my wife, watched got sucked in with the series and documentary on the Murdaugh family and the murders and what happened, what didn't happen. The maid, that situation was a big deal, and now we're finding out that the murder conviction of Alex Murdaugh has been thrown out. What is going on here?
Yeah, you get a sequel. How's that? You get a season 4 or whatever it is.
It's kind of like a soap opera where they break all the rules, and all of a sudden the guy who just died is back to life, and he's back on the show, and they explain it away.
They would never do that. No. Yeah, that's that they filmed that like 4 miles from my house. So
yes, there you go.
South Fork, and it's a lot more suburbia. It's like the pyramids now. The pyramids, they have like a Kentucky Fried Chicken right across the street from South Fork.
Yeah,
you can get your Arby's right there. Anyway,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so Murdaugh. Yeah, so boy, this is a really great way to just stub your toe. And look, the prosecution didn't do anything wrong. They had a rogue clerk who decided that she was going to kind of be the 13th juror and decided to kind of tell her thoughts and opinions. Also happened to be writing a book. And there's really just no clear violation of due process in that. When you work for the judge, when you work for the court, you may as well be the judge.
You are the court, right? Yeah.
The bailiff, the coordinator, the clerk. I mean, and then you tell the jurors some of the inside baseball that's going on while they're out of the room. The reason why the jury is out of the room is because it's sort of supposed to be this antiseptic environment there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and it took them a while. What was surprising to me is what took them so long to flip the darn thing, because it's just such a ridiculously out loud violation.
Yeah, it's so for those who don't know.
Yeah, explain what the violation was.
Ann in Rome. Good morning. Why didn't jurors say anything when the clerk was telling them to vote guilty? Before you answer that, there was a guilty verdict, and now it's being reversed because of this clerk, right? And the things that she had said to the jurors.
That's right. Yeah, Murdoch gets a new trial, and he gets a new trial because the clerk was functionally the tour guide for this jury. She's the one that coordinates their meals. She's the one that welcomes them in the morning. She's the one that makes sure that they have enough coffee, everything that they need, and she's functionally, again, their tour guide. And she's chipping in with her 2 cents about Murdoch's testimony, about what to watch for. That would be no different than the judge saying it out of the judge's mouth. And so you don't have to, in that instance, you always do in court what's called a harm analysis, right? Which means that okay, so somebody said something, somebody did something improper. We know that happened. Where does it hurt, and how much does it hurt? And when you have again functionally the judge coming into the jury room and saying this guy's lying, that's going to reverse every case.
What type of a penalty does that clerk face?
I think she actually pled to. I think it was a misdemeanor, and I don't know. And you got me on that one. I don't know what they got her on because, I mean, it's stupid, and you're basically costing the county. My God, I don't know how much that county spent on this trial, but now they have to do it again. So you have thrown in the toilet all of the resources that went into that trial. That's the legal fees. That's the emotional equity. That's the victims having to relive that. That's the defense having to go through that. That's the 12 jurors who gave up how much part of their lives. That's the judge. That's the court. That's all the people who couldn't go and get divorced because this judge was busy in the trial. So it is immeasurable how much damage this was done.
Quick question: will this new trial call a new jury?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
everything will be new.
They will just do this again it
never happened.
I look at it this way, and correct me if I'm wrong. As frustrating as this is, and as much as we can look at this and say, "Oh, of course, Murdoch, who had such influence over the system through years of his family, and they basically could get away with anything. Now we're giving him this second chance. But to me, it's when you see something like this, you realize you too, if you were falsely charged or falsely convicted, or there was a technicality, it's a right everyone deserves in this country. Does that make any sense?
Yes. No, absolutely. And that's kind of a point that you try to make as a lawyer when you're arguing for something that appears, a lot of times in the court system, we reverse things or we change things for the appearance of impropriety.
Yeah.
And what I try to tell judges in this instance is, look, the one person who matters the most that is this guy sitting right here.
Yeah.
It's the defendant for him, he can go to prison and he can complain about you this entire time, or he can go and learn his lesson.
Yeah.
And why would you give this guy anything to complain about? And so in those instances, and yes, I get families all the time who come in and they say, well, what about this? Well, what about my Miranda rights? Well, what about this? And what about that? And look, lady, your kid's just too guilty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. Why is it that in some cases we hear a story where a convicted person gets off on a terrible crime and he gets let go because of a technicality versus this case where they're going to retry because of a technicality?
That's a great question. So when it has to do usually with what you would call legal or factual sufficiency. In other words, Did the technicality make it to where you win, right, to where the prosecution's evidence was insufficient? Or was it just a violation in the process, right? And does everybody get a do-over? So, for instance, if there's a bad search or seizure, so you look at Little Miss Innocent, for example, right? If we want to go back to her case, if we took something that eliminated one of the elements of the crime, and you said, okay, now they could, because they kicked down the door when they shouldn't have kicked down the door, they can't even prove that that's her. For instance, and I'm just spitballing here, then that's an element of the crime. Okay. Prosecution, you were never going to win this case.
Yeah, I see. Very interesting. By the way, she's a free person right now. No charges against her, and they're still waiting for the appellate court's decision on that case to see if they will retry. I just don't think they're going to. We'll see what happens there. As always, Jeremy, we learn when you're on the air. Pretty wild.
As do I. I learned from you, and now I know that there's still snow up there, just like I thought. Right.
Little nooks and crannies, you'll still find it. All right, have a wonderful weekend off, hopefully.
You as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jeremy Rosenthal. And he's one of the Rosenthal Report, by the way, one of the top attorneys in all of Texas. Defense attorneys. Good man. All right, I have a great question this morning. It's worth $250. Plus, we're loaded today. Just loaded up with extra consolation prizes. Oil change, tickets to boxing, the whole 9 yards. So get yourself ready. Get ready. We're going to do that coming up after Manaski's News on WIBX.
Something old is new in the village of New Hartford. Introducing Handshake Antiques, now open at 66 Genesee Street, next to Giorgio's Village Cafe. Not your grandma's antique shop. Think clean, curated, and cool. From high-end furniture, vintage fashion, vinyl records, to oddities and all things eclectic. And we're always buying, so look in your attic or basement. And if it's old, call Handshake Antiques. Plus, inventory changes weekly, so every visit is a new find. Handshake Antiques, where it never went out of style.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Did you know your most treasured rugs can look new again? At ABC Chem Dry, we specialize in premium area rug cleaning. From treasured family heirlooms to fine rugs from around the world, our trained specialists use a careful 5-step process, inspecting, dusting, cleaning, drying, grooming, and protecting, so your rug always gets the expert care it deserves. Don't wait. Call ABC Chem Dry today at 315-738-1111 to schedule a drop-off or pickup.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Mostly cloudy skies, maybe some scattered raindrops depending on your location. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 736. Primary elections held in 6 states Tuesday with a lot of attention going toward one race in particular in Kentucky. That's where 7-term Congressman Thomas Massie, a vocal Trump critic, has conceded the Republican primary for the state's 4th congressional district to Ed Gallrein in the most expensive U.S. House primary in history. It was one of the top races many believed was a test to measure Trump's grip on the GOP. The U.S. is expected to announce an indictment today of Raul Castro, former Cuban president and the brother of late Fidel Castro. The indictment is expected to deal with Cuba's shooting down of humanitarian assistance planes back in 1996 and comes as the Trump administration continues to put pressure on Cuba. The announcement is set to come during a ceremony in Miami to honor victims of the murders. The FBI says the 2 teen suspects behind Monday's deadly shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego were radicalized online. The suspects killed 3 adults at the center, including a security guard, before they were later found dead from suspected self-inflicted gunshot wounds. President Trump telling lawmakers that he'd like to end the war in Iran very quickly. His remarks came yesterday during the White House congressional picnic, just hours after the Senate advanced a war powers resolution aimed at requiring the withdrawal of U.S. forces from the Iran conflict. The U.S. making a special exception to health regulations to let the Democratic Republic of the Congo's soccer team into the country for the World Cup. Currently, non-Americans who have been in the DRC, Uganda, and South Sudan for the last 21 days are barred from entry because of an outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus. The DRC is scheduled to play its first World Cup match in Texas on June 17th against Portugal. And the Stanley Cup playoffs continue tonight. The Colorado Avalanche are hosting the Vegas Golden Knights for Game 1 of the Western Conference Final from Denver. The Eastern Conference Final is set to begin Thursday with the Carolina Hurricanes hosting the Montreal Canadiens in Game 1 from Raleigh. Right now, cloudy skies, maybe some scattered raindrops at 7:39.
Where they make the rain. They manufacture the rain shop. You ready for this?
7:39.
Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel.
Chilly weather continuing to spill on in now as the front goes through and temperatures actually may hold. Near 70 are dropping to the 60s today with a few showers around this morning. Chilly night tonight, dropping to the mid-40s, mainly cloudy. North Country could sneak into the 30s. Thursday, clouds give way to sunshine, mid-60s. Thursday night, even chillier, near 40. North Country, probably some patchy light frost. Then sunshine, 70 on Friday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, 68 degrees at 7:39.
All right, it's time to do Davey Hobeika's free money question of the day. It's worth what did you say? $75?
I think so.
$250 is what you said. Worth $250. And you're looking for caller number what right now?
Caller 7.
7. And there's a lot of opportunities to win some stuff today. Caller 7 right now at 315-736-0186 at WIBX.
Warner Sales and Service. Building relationships, building trust.
This is Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf Zero-Turn Mowers. Hustler mowers are designed to be maintenance and service friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. Come see us at Warner Sales and Service on the Greenway New London Road in Rome, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget.
Memorial Day sale is on at Mattress Express. Get up to a $1,000 prepaid gas card on select new King and Queen mattress sets. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers. A $500 gas card on massage chairs. Go to MattressExpressNY.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Host. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethost.com/terms.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and the world's #1 expandable hose has gone ballistic. The brand new Pocket Hose Ballistic is here, and it's the hose I reach for every time. This brand new anti-burst sleeve uses an extraordinary new liquid crystal polymer used in bulletproof vests, tough enough to handle anything your outdoor tasks throw its way. And that's not all. The Pocket Hose Ballistic comes with even more upgrades like thicker washers that resist leaks and an enhanced UV coating so your hose looks brand new year after year. What could be better than that? How about not one, but 2 free gifts with your purchase? For a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text SUMMER to 64,000. That's SUMMER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. That's SUMMER to 64,000.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, we have $250 on the line this morning from the Hobica Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica. So for all of your legal needs, call the Hobica Law Firm at 315-736-0186. And it's time this morning for the free money question of the day. Are you ready? Plus, we have a whole bunch of stuff to go along with it. You'll get an oil change. Win or lose, you'll get an oil change from Jackson Auto Outlet and Taylor's Trailers. They offer automobiles, ATVs, trailers all in one place. There's a DMV on site for all purchases at 7113 East Dominic Street in Rome. A free oil change up to 7 quarts. You got to make the appointment by calling 315-335-3888. It's a $99 value. All right, and our caller is Bob in Whitesboro. Hello, Bob. Robert, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Now, I do want to tell you in advance. I told Manaski. What did I tell you?
This is either going to be the best question ever, or you're going to think it's the worst question ever.
Some may fall on one side, some may fall on the other. Clearly, Bob, if you get it right, you're going to think that's the greatest question of all time. If you don't get it right, but we're going to give you another chance to win on top of this, okay?
Awesome.
Coming up. So let's start with the $250 free money question of the day. 7 seconds to answer. Here is your question. By the way, the question is brought to you by Rich at Boulevard Diner. So don't blame me. Blame Rich at Boulevard Diner. It's a great question.
That's all right. They got good food there.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they do.
Really, really do. And actually, it's a brilliant question. Okay, here we go. Here is the question. Name the only person who played for the Celtics and the Bruins. Ready? Go.
Kevin McHale.
He got a guess in. I give him credit for that.
You got to guess it.
I think that's a great question.
Name
Is
the
it a
only
player
who played. Name the only person who played for the Celtics and the Bruins. Manaski's asking questions.
Yeah, you said that's a player. You said person.
I said name the only person who played for the Celtics and the Bruins.
I think this is a bad question.
Oh, you can't say that. You cannot say that.
It's the owner, right?
No, it's not the owner.
No?
No. Are you ready for the answer? His name is John Kiley. He is the organist.
Oh,
come
on. What? Rich, I love the question. Are you still there, Bob, or did you hang up on me?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
That's a tough one.
It's tough, but it's a question that is out there. It's a Googleable. Is that a word?
But don't encourage that.
I'm not encouraging it. I'm just saying you might have read it at some point.
You just said, Bob, it was tough, but it's Googleable.
Right. I'm just saying you have to dig to find it, but it's there. It's there.
Not in 7 seconds, it's not.
Not in 7 seconds. Well, I would have accepted 2 answers. Answer 1, John Kiley. Answer 2, I would have accepted the organist.
Well, that's okay. That's more fair.
I would have accepted
That's more fair.
All right. Bob, before you start swearing at us, I'm giving you another chance to win. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
All right. Do you like boxing?
Yeah, I guess I'll watch
A night
it.
out. This is what it could be. June 12th at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. It's Hall of Fame weekend, and it's boxing fight night at the Turning Stone, a card packed with rising stars, hard-hitting contenders. Get ready for a night of can't miss boxing. Sorry, at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino.
They're putting together all the right combinations.
Oh, that's good. Nice play there. Okay, here's a pair of tickets. This is for a pair of tickets to Fight Night at the Turning Stone, but it's a random question situation. I'm going to spin a wheel, and the question will be, will we land on number 100, number 200, or number 300?
200.
You're going to go with 200. All right.
200.
Let us spin the wheel and see if Bob is a winner. Here we go. I always start these out with a little music, like a little maybe Bob Dylan music. Here we go. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
$200.
There you go.
Oh, we got it.
You got it. Oh, it's spinning again. I don't want it to spin again. Well, listen,
Bill always ends the segment with an extra spin just for good luck for the next person who plays.
Our wheel technology is not what they do with Seacrest on TV. All right, Bob, we're going to give you a pair of tickets to Fight Night at the Turning Stone. Plus, you get the oil change from Jackson Auto Outlet and Taylor's Trailers, because here, nobody loses. All right, Bob?
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right, you stand by, and Davey has you. Yes, hold. It's going to take him a second there, Bob, but
you crack me up.
Wasn't that a great question, though?
Rich, that's
Rich
a
at Boulevard
that's
Diner.
a very good question.
That was a really good question, especially knowing you could have said Oregon.
Initially, it was a bad question, but then it turned into a good
think about
question.
it. Think about it a little bit.
And yeah. You know what?
I mean, you
a
could
guy smarter than me came up with the idea that it couldn't have been a player.
If you knew, you did. And if you knew Celtics basketball and Bruins hockey, you would know that both have an organist.
Well, hold on. A commenter named I Am Just Saying.
Oh, good.
Has an awesome answer to this question.
Okay, what's his answer?
Can you rephrase the question? I want to make sure this is accurate.
Here is the question. What person has played for both the Bruins and the Celtics?
I think, I Am Just Saying, it took him more than 7 seconds, but we ought to give him something. He says Bill Walton played for the Boston Celtics and the UCLA Bruins in college.
Oh.
So he could have been who was the correct answer. Also, Bill Walton played for the UCL Bruins in college.
Well, he can't win because he's texting us.
You won in my book,
all right,
whatever your name is. I Am Just Saying.
Well, I'm just saying.
And I have no prizes to give you, so I
I'm just saying, give me a break. In studio right now is Dr. Haydick and Mike Haydick Jr.
He had to pull that up towards you. Boy, you're tall, huh?
Just a little bit.
So basketball is your sport, isn't it? My goodness.
Yeah, for quite amount of time in life. Yeah.
Mike Jr. was the Clinton varsity boys basketball coach who has just learned that he is not being retained. And gentlemen, good morning. And in fact, you're Dr. Haydick, you're the assistant coach.
Correct. Yeah, I've actually been at Clinton as an assistant coach, which I don't think people really realize this, right? They think about me as my day gig, right? At the lab. But yeah, I've been there 18 years, probably the third longest coach there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Mike, how long have you been?
Yeah, so it's been 9 years. One of the unique things actually was after we lost our JV coach to another school a few years ago, we coached both teams. So essentially coaching both JV and varsity, which is no one else in the area really does that. It's very hard pressed to see in especially other areas. So it was just something that we were asked to do. Coaching two teams and me being there 4 hours a night isn't the most fun. But
so you coach them separately?
Separately, yeah. We crossed over for a half hour every night. But by the time you get there, by the time you leave, in 2 games, 2 rosters, it's 2 of everything. And there's only 24 kids, right, between the 2 teams, which I know you coach soccer, football, you might have more kids.
Yeah.
You'll have more assistant coaches, though. The other big thing is that's two different teams of sets, that's 2 different teams of personnel, that's 2 different lineups, that's 2 different rotations.
And I can't remember, it's been a few years since high school for me, but I know that when we wrestled, basketball wrestling, same season, the JV would always wrestle before the varsity. Yeah. Same thing for basketball?
Thankfully, yes, for the most part. I mean,
there's some
games we play at the Nexus Center and whatnot that JV doesn't play, so we have completely different days. But for the most part, thankfully, it is the same scheduling.
Okay, what happened?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, and this is part of the reason, we get a lot of these questions is when schools make the quote-unquote personnel decisions, they don't give you much information. It'd be good for more, right? And then this is happening more and more where you'll see a misunderstanding, say, between a player, coach, whatever, and immediately side with the player, immediately get rid of a coach. So
somebody's not playing.
That's a big one. And the big thing in Clinton is they'll say, they won't listen to playing time complaints. But you do, and then, anything else you say, it usually comes from a disgruntled parent about playing time. And basketball is the hardest, right? Because it's the only sport where a majority of the players aren't playing on the floor or on the court, right? Football maybe at bigger schools, more people, but in Clinton, it's the sport that kids play the least in, right? We have 12 on the team per se and 5 on the court. So the math isn't in your favor. You're always going to make someone upset. But it's I know we're very different in just kind of the modern coaching way. I know every parent has my number, my email. I've gotten calls at 6 a.m., 1 a.m. You answer them, right? You deal with them. You talk about playing time. And it was a weird year. We didn't get many of those. But, and at the end of the year, I meet with AD and superintendent, like, oh, yeah, we got some complaints about stuff. And you ask about what? And there's nothing. Like, oh, we can't talk about it because the kids, it's this, it's that. And I know the question comes up, oh, was it wins and losses? That's not a thing that's ever really talked about in Clinton. I didn't know. I coach for the kids. I don't coach for winning. I didn't know till the Sentinel article came out that we were 67 and 70 over however many years, which actually, do the math, that's the second highest winning percentage in Clinton basketball history for a coach.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
It's Hockeyville, USA, right? So for the longest time, basketball was an absolute struggle in Clinton. And ever since I was a kid, I was really dedicated to having a good basketball program in Clinton. I know I talked about it on my Facebook post the other day. I was 7 when I first was the water boy for Clinton, and I haven't not missed a season since then. Only when I was in college playing. 4 years in college, but always been a part of it. It's always been kind of my life, right? So to say like, hey, you might have been hard on a kid or might have been this, one, that, I was like, I have every reason to listen to you because that's just who I am as a coach. But to just, say, oh, we're just not going to have you back, because how it works is every year technically you're reappointed. And, maybe in some instances there's a teacher that wants to do it that has first precedence in some instances, but there's no plan to really have someone to coach for next year. And in this,
I was going to bring that up. If a tenured teacher, that I've seen that happen. And there was a coach that lost, wasn't it Clinton also a couple of years ago? Was it hockey, I think?
There was an instance where there was a
seems to be a different story, though.
That was a different story. That was a middle school PE teacher who's actually no longer at Clinton. He's coaching another team and doing a phenomenal job. Did a phenomenal job in Clinton, phenomenal job where he's now. Very different situation. And I will say, funny enough, it was a 10-year teacher that wanted the job. They would have been one of my teachers. Right. Because I graduated in 2013 from there, so not that long ago. Right.
So there are petitions, change.org, all of that stuff, people, students, and I'm assuming families as well, asking for you to be reinstated. Do you think there's any chance that would happen?
I mean, who knows? These things are always very interesting. When, I'm one of those people who doesn't like to talk about myself and that stuff a lot. So when, my girlfriend Danielle, who's pregnant, we're expecting our first child in July. She goes, we should put out a petition. I was like, well, I don't know. That's not a me thing, not my decision thing. And she put it out there. She wrote the whole letter. She put it out there. And it's got about 550 signatures on it. I mean, we're a small town. We have 400-something kids in our high school. So we have more people that want to see us back coaching than we do in our high school. I think that speaks some volumes. It's a little touching, too. There's a lot of former players that have commented on it that we've, I've coached 6-7 years ago, that are still saying, hey, the lessons I learned, from you are carrying, me to where I am today. And that's really what I set out to do when I coach. Like, we're going to win games, we're going to lose games. I mean, it's a small school basketball. We're going to have ups and downs and basically 500 throughout our career. And it's to know that you're pushing a kid to be the better version of themselves is, what it means to me. I mean, I had a kid in this whole process tell me, he goes, Coach, because you took a chance on me is why I graduated high school, why I'm in college. I mean, kid got suspended 13 times before he came to us and never got a suspension after he played for us.
Wow.
Right? And
that's a great accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, I told him, I go, I'm going to probably make everybody upset, but I'm going to make you captain. And you're only going to be on the team if you're captain. And if you mess up once outside of basketball, in basketball, foul class, whatever, you're going to lose being captain. And he goes, that means I'm going to be off the team. I was like, you've done the math correctly.
Yeah.
Right? And, I mean, he went from I legitimately failing 5 classes, suspended 13 times, and now he's at a very prestigious college.
Wow.
He got into, and he actually texts me almost monthly, just updates about how he's doing in college, just like he did in high school.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the type of thing you want to do with kids.
Dr. Haydick,
Yes.
your thoughts on?
Yeah, I think what we've seen here is a lot of things in play. First off, I really wasn't pleased with how the process played out. Like I said, I've been there, coached there a long time. During the season, we didn't hear complaints from parents. They went directly to the superintendent, possibly the AD. Did not filter down to us. Mike had one meeting with the AD. Seemingly was corrected. And if there are issues out there, we always want the parents to come and talk to us first and foremost.
Yeah.
So I would have appreciated that. I did meet with the superintendent. We had a great 45-minute meeting. Went over, a lot of things that Mike has done as a coach, which I don't think comes out enough. Right.
Yeah.
So he talked about the impact on players. Every year we have a huge charity event that Mike does. Past 3 years have been Project Purple for pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
And one of our former coaches, Sam Constantino, who worked with us, dear friend of mine growing up, passed away from pancreatic cancer. But when we started this, Sam was still alive. And then we went through that. Mike's raised literally thousands of dollars out in the community, getting sponsors, getting T-shirts for everyone at the game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there. The impact on the players, which you see if you have a chance to read through the petition and the Facebook messages, has been incredible.
It's very emotional.
Yeah, and it's much more than wins and losses.
Yeah.
Right? It's the impact, and it's the lasting impact. We were at a board meeting last week, 30 minutes public comment session. We filled it, right? Not we, but other people came out and spoke. There were 9 people who spoke. I read 2 letters of people who couldn't be there. It was very moving, very emotional, including current players, current parents in there. So there's really a small fraction out there who don't want to see Mike back as head coach, and that's a shame. Right?
I'm going to ask you to hold the thought, and you've been coaching for a long time. 1 week on the other side, we have news, and after that, I do want to ask you, as somebody like yourself who's been doing this for a long time, are kids different today? I think that's important, and how parents react to that. We'll get to that on the other side. Anybody wants to comment, 315-736-0186. News next, and then we'll continue this on the other side.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
President Trump takes down another fellow Republican he doesn't like. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Congressman Thomas Massey primaried out in Kentucky.
If you always vote with the president, if the legislative branch always votes with the president, we do have a king.
Massey does not support the president in Iran and did not vote for the big, beautiful bill. He lost by almost 10 points to Trump-banked GOP challenger Ed Galbraith.
That sends a message that we, the people, are going to stand up.
Now, also, Fox's Madeline Rivera reports.
President Trump, though, did not put his thumb on the scale in the Georgia Senate primary. Congressman Mike Collins and Derek Dooley will compete again in the runoff next month as Republicans try to unseat Democratic Senator John Ossoff.
Now in Texas, the president's backing Ken Paxton in next week's Republican runoff. Senator John Cornyn's challenger. Days after another GOP senator the president wanted ousted in Louisiana, Bill Cassidy, lost his primary. And Cassidy joined a few other Republicans and most Democrats backing a war powers resolution in the Senate, voting to allow it to proceed toward a final vote, attempting to limit the president's military actions in Iran. Now, Vice President Vance says, despite delaying resuming bombing Iran to let nuclear talks continue.
We're locked and loaded. We don't want to go down that pathway, but the president is willing and able to go down that pathway if we have to.
We're learning more about President Trump dropping his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS over leaked tax returns. Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House.
The U.S. government is dropping tax claims against President Trump, his sons, and the Trump Organization. A one-page document posted to the Justice Department's website says the federal government is forever barred and precluded from investigating or pursuing tax claims currently pending.
That settlement also includes a nearly $1.8 billion settlement fund for people believed targeted by the Biden Justice Department. Democrats are angry about that, and they say it's President Trump weaponizing the DOJ. America's listening to Fox News.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year.
I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
President Trump may have won another primary fight, the one in Kentucky, but a new poll shows a lot of people still don't support him right now.
37% of Americans approve of the job the president's doing, up from 33% in April in this AP NORC Center for Public Affairs research poll. Immigration remains his strongest issue overall, improving to 45% this month. He's lost some Republican support on the economy. About 6 in 10 approve. 2/3 of Republicans and about 1/3 of Americans overall approve of the president's handling of Iran. He's at 36% approval on foreign policy in general. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Investigators in California are looking at a manifesto 2 teenagers left behind after killing themselves following Monday's attack on a mosque, killing 3 people.
Hawa Abdullah remembering her father, Amin Abdullah, a security guard at the Islamic Center of San Diego.
To me, my dad was a role model. He was a best friend.
Calling him a loving father, husband, son, brother, and uncle.
He stood against any form of hate. He took his job seriously to protect everyone here.
Abdullah was one of 3 men fatally shot by 2 teen gunmen Monday. Police say he engaged in a gun battle with the suspects, saving lives. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are rising, coming off yesterday's sell-off. The Dow dropped more than 300 points. The Nasdaq fell 220. In the NBA playoffs, the Cleveland blows a huge lead in the opening game of the Eastern Conference Finals.
The Cavs gave away the largest fourth-quarter lead of the playoffs in 13 years and lost.
Fox's Jared Max.
The greatest fourth-quarter comeback playoff win in Knicks history. New York trailed Cleveland 93-71 with just over 7.5 minutes to play when the Knicks closed regulation on a 30-8 run to force overtime, where the Knicks outscored the Cavs 14-3 and won the series opener 115-104.
Tonight, it's Game 2 of the West Finals. San Antonio won the opener, beating Oklahoma City in double overtime. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 69 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 8:05. This news update brought to you by Destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Utica police and fire units dispatched to Proctor Park off of Rutger Street for a young female in distress after being in a body of water. It was relayed that several other juveniles had pulled the girl from the water as she went under. Officers arrived within moments and brought the juvenile from the creek bed onto a grassy area and immediately started CPR. UFD arrived soon after to take over care, ultimately transporting the juvenile to Wynn Hospital. Emergency room staff there were able to stabilize the child until she was transported to Upstate Medical. An updated condition may be released today as more information is learned. State lawmakers expected to approve a 14th budget extender today to make sure New York can keep paying their bills. Since missing the initial April 1st deadline, there have been more than $31 billion in budget extenders passed by the legislature. The final cost of the state budget is still unknown, but some officials believe it might be lower than Governor Hochul's $268 billion proposal. The hope is that lawmakers will start voting on budget bills in the coming days. A Supreme Court judge in Otsego County making a decision in the case of Gordon Woody Maurer, the Richfield Springs man, now 49, serving a life sentence for killing his parents, Gordon and Susan Maurer, back in 1996. The court denying Maurer's motion to vacate his 1996 conviction. Maurer was 18 when he pleaded guilty to killing his parents. Hannaford announcing the recall of 2 products sold on its store shelves. The supermarket chain says the recall impacts Nature's Promise ciabatta rolls and Nature's Promise cheddar ciabatta rolls that may be missing the egg allergen on their labels. The rolls were available from May 10th through the 18th. So far, there have been no reports of illness. Anyone who bought the rolls can return them to the store for a full refund. And checking school district board seat and budget results from last night. All local school districts had their budgets approved. In the city of Utica, Howard Potter elected to the school board in Rome. Voters choosing Carvelli, Capone, and DeMatteis. Whitesboro, it's Henderson and McQueen, and board members in New Hartford, voters in New Hartford selected Jadon as a board member there. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:08. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Chilly weather continuing to spill on in now as the front goes through and temperatures actually may hold. Near 70 are dropping to the 60s today with a few showers around this morning. Chilly night tonight, dropping to the mid-40s, mainly cloudy. North Country could sneak into the 30s. Thursday, clouds give way to sunshine, mid-60s. Thursday night, even chillier, near 40. North Country, probably some patchy light frost. Then sunshine, 70 on Friday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stage at WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, cloudy skies, 69 degrees at 8:09. All right, I got to lead with this. Huge comeback last night for the Knicks. 22 points in the fourth quarter with under 8 to play. They rallied to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 1. It took overtime. 115-104 was your final at MSG. The Knicks will host Game 2 of that series coming up on Thursday night. Meanwhile, tonight it's Game 2 in the Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City looks to pull even at home. The Spurs got a double overtime victory in Game 1. They lead that best-of-7 series 1-0. Some NFL news. Kansas City wide receiver Rashee Rice in custody in Texas after violating probation tied to a high-speed crash. Dallas County court records say Rice tested positive for THC. He was arrested Tuesday. The court had ordered Rice to serve a previously issued 30-day jail sentence with a listed release date of June 16th. He is serving probation in connection with a March 2024 crash that injured other drivers during an alleged highway racing incident in Dallas. He pleaded guilty to a pair of third-degree felonies in that case. The NFL league owners voting to have Nashville host Super Bowl 64. This won't be until 2030, but the official vote came yesterday. The game is being played at the new home of the Tennessee Titans, which is expected to be open in time for next season. In other news, the league announcing that 10 games will be played internationally next season and that teams will not be allowed to protect games from being played out of the country. Previously, teams were allowed to prevent 2 games from being taken from their home stadiums. Any thoughts on that, Bill?
I'm sorry, I was doing something else.
No, it's just I don't like.
I was trying to cover, but I
don't like this move by.
Is this NFL you're talking about?
Yeah, NFL. So with the international games, apparently now there's going to be a 10th game this coming season. Let me double check that. Is that how I read that? Yes. But so teams are also allowed to protect. Here's the problem that I have. You have teams charging what is called a personal seating license. Personal seating license can be anywhere from $2,000 to $50,000. And what does a personal seating license do? It allows you to be a season ticket holder. It doesn't cover the cost of your tickets. It allows you to purchase a ticket to be a season ticket holder, which I just think is outrageous as it is. Now, I'll use the example of Giants-Cowboys. Huge rivalry. Every year, Dallas hosts the Giants one time. Giants host Dallas one time. Well, if the league said we're going to hold that game in Ireland next year,
you don't get that game.
How many fans go, okay, well, maybe I don't want my season tickets anymore?
Yeah.
It's another.
Yeah, I'm not
It's a middle finger to fans, and I'm sick and tired of it. It's over and over again.
Happy the Bills are not playing overseas.
Well, that's a perfect example. Let's say, you had a chance to host Mahomes in your new stadium this year, and the league said, well, that's an international matchup. We want to hold that game in Berlin.
And I think the reason is because of the new stadium. The NFL is all about the new stadium, which is why I think they're getting it come Thanksgiving and Christmas. Anyway, I'm not a fan of the overseas games.
Baseball action last night. The Mets lose in D.C. 9-6. The final, Nolan McLean takes the loss. The Yankees did beat the Blue Jays 5-4. Ryan McMahon hit a 3-run shot. Ben Rice went deep as well. both teams continue their 4-game series coming up tonight. Did I forget something? Did I mention the Knicks were down 22 halfway?
No, you did not mention that. You did not.
Did I
get
say
into that? Yeah.
I don't know if you guys had a chance.
You did not get into it.
The Knicks took game 1 last night. An amazing, surprising, come from behind fashion.
In studio is the Mike's Haydick, Junior, Senior, Dr. Mike Haydick, and Mike Haydick Jr. The story is that Mike Haydick Jr. Was the Clinton varsity boys basketball coach and has not been reinstated for next season.
This is final now? It's official?
I mean, I would say it's official when you have a new coach and you appoint the new coach and you.
Oh, there's a new coach.
There is.
No,
I'm saying it would be, right?
Yes, gotcha.
So as of right now, if there's ever a chance to overturn this,
and
it's
weirdly
now.
enough, a lot of the winter appointments usually happen in October.
Yeah,
So to be told now is an interesting one when it's usually not October, and to just say, hey, these kids aren't going to have a summer and spring program.
When is the next board meeting? Well, it'll be next
June, I believe. June.
We
were at board meeting.
So it might be an opportunity for students, former students, what have you, to come out and present the petition and really give some testimony. I'd asked you before the break, Dr. Haydick, you've been coaching how many years?
18 at Clinton. If you go to youth sports, well over 20. Travel baseball, school baseball, everything.
And we have that travel baseball in common. And if there's ever a room for trouble, it's travel baseball.
Especially when you have umpires.
Yeah, umpires are the
I'm going to throw you out, Doc.
So the question is, has it become different? Like I hear this from comedians all the time. What used to be funny on a college campus is not funny anymore. In fact, it's problematic. Have the kids changed?
I think society as a whole has changed, and I think that's had an effect on kids. I think you go back to 18 years, it was a much different world back then. Coaches were much different. When I played, coaches were obviously much different, much tougher. And that has changed.
The Bobby Knight.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I grew up in Rome. I played for Mike 80 and Stan Evans, right? 2 coaches, legendary, Hall of Fame coaches. Yeah. Their styles might not work today, right?
Yeah.
So you have that. And I will say, Mike's style has had to adjust because of that and as times have changed. But I think kids have changed, and I think parents absolutely have changed. I think, I've thought about this. I'm probably going to retire at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe sooner than later. Who knows? I'm writing a book about this because it is crazy in youth sports and how much parents have changed, how much they don't want their kids to fail. They don't let their kids fail, right?
Yeah.
My wife, Jean, and I, we always were proponents with our kids, Mike and Lindsay, you have a problem with a teacher, with a coach, with someone, go talk to them.
Yeah.
We're teaching them about being adults, right?
Yeah.
It's a cruel world out there. Mom and dad aren't going to be there for you, right? When we coach, some of our kids go right out into the working world, right? They're going out into the military. They're going out into the trades. They're going out into law enforcement, other places where it's really hard right away. Mom and dad aren't going to be there if you have a bad day.
And I got to tell you, going off to college is it is not fair. That whole professor world is a different. It's
different.
Experience.
And I was going to mention that, right? So I talked. Any of my players are going into engineering or science. I really talk to them. We write a lot of letters of recommendation every year, and I tell them how hard engineering is going to be. I go, you think high school's hard? Wait to get into engineering or any other subject.
Yeah,
it's hard, and professors obviously don't want to hear from parents.
Or they won't even talk to you.
No,
right? Because your kid's an adult. Now there are moments where a parent has got to step in.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you're stepping in on every little situation, that is a major mistake.
And as we say this beginning of the year meeting every year, talk to us first. Right? Talk to the coaches, right? Then go through the chain of command. Maybe we'll have to meet on that. The other thing I was going to bring up too, every kid's on a travel team these days. Every kid plays AAU. Like when your son was growing up, you had to try out for these travel teams, and they were hard and competitive to make, right? Nowadays, I hate to say it, you write a check, you're on a team, and then you're going to play. And the other thing that kind of gets me are basketball trainers. There's a lot of trainers out there, and we have some very good ones in the area. He worked with Danelius King, who's the best. He worked with Syracuse players all the time, Brianna Stewart, you name it. But there's others out there who aren't qualified, but they just tell the kids and their parents that they're really good.
Yeah,
right? And then that does not translate to team sports.
Yeah.
Something you said, and this doesn't necessarily pertain. I just want to be clear. I think you're speaking in general, right? This doesn't pertain to your own situation, but the whole idea of some parents won't let their kids fail, and it's not by encouraging them to put in more work or to work harder or to learn from their mistakes. It's no matter how much level of effort you put in, we're not going to let you fail, and that is just a horrible life lesson to give on to give to the child.
And I'm sure it's different too with you umpiring. Like I've heard many stories this year of coaches, parents, even players bringing out video to umpires to try to show them like, hey, like you missed this call. And I just hearing that is like I can't believe we're at that point where this is like okay to, you think this is okay to do.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've gone to some of the baseball games. I've seen you out there. I couldn't imagine, bringing that. I mean, it was funny when Pat Beverly did it in the NBA years ago. He brought the camera out to the ref, but as a kid or a parent or a coach, just doing that is just, to me, I don't know where we got into a society where we think that's okay to do, and I think it contributes to it.
I saw it first time, which was shocking, maybe 12 years ago, 13 years ago, 14 years ago. And it was shocking because we'd never seen anything like that. It's like, oh my, he's got the replay in the stands and came out to the referee. Nowhere in the world is that ever going to be appropriate, right?
Right.
Well, let's hope not.
Yeah. And hearing from a former travel ball coach out there, Jeff. Good morning. It's a different world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know Jeff. So the other thing I was going to say, he's very modest. He is one heck of a basketball coach. He's only 2 years removed from being coach of the year, winning a league title, taking our team in Clinton to the sectional finals, which has been, over 20 plus years?
Which has been since the 70s.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so, okay, so even further.
We lost in the semis both those years in 05 and 06.
Okay, those were the semis. Yeah, so he's very much, he knows what he's doing. He's very talented. He played 4 years in college. I've seen him pull games out of thin air to win, right? Like the Knicks comeback. A couple years ago, we played at Lowville. You want to talk about passionate fans up in Lowville. It's like a scene from Hoosiers up there. We went in there, they were what, the 3 seed, 2 seed?
Yeah, they were, that was fun. They were the 3 seed. We were the 6 seed.
I mean, it was an amazing game. We got there
2 hours before.
Yeah, 2 hours before, 6 o'clock game. There were people who come in with like newspapers, hold their seats before.
Yeah, old school
style.
style.
Meets that. And he's getting heckled in pregame, right?
Yeah.
It was fun. But we came out, we won, and we had a great run that year. And, we have talent coming up. So sometimes, he doesn't bring that up. But
and beyond that, what I've always felt, which was great about athletics, no matter what sport you're playing, is it's the life lessons. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Because chances are you're not going to go on and you're not going to play Major League Baseball. You're not going to play in the NBA and NHL, and maybe that might happen, but it's rare. But if you can walk away and you've learned life lessons, it will carry you through life.
It carries. Right? We've all been there. I think the other point too is grades. Right, we were obviously big academic fans here. We went through some rough spots this year with academics, and we'd have to start practice every day talking about it. Trying to get kids eligible.
Yeah, new grade policy, new late policy was things we had to deal with this year in Clinton, and I mean it's tough, right? Because you start to see. Every day. The tough thing is in Clinton too, if you're showing you're trying to pass, this is another thing that is just different in these days. If you're showing you're trying to pass, they'll let you play. So that's just a hard one for us to understand. But we'll work with the kids, right? Hey, have you gone in? Have you done this? And we get a lot of, but this, but that. And I really feel for our teachers too, because I don't know how it's got to be such a struggle with some things.
It's a different world.
A question and then a comment here. You mentioned maybe in your meeting with was it the board or the superintendent that you said, were there any incidents or any complaints? And he said yes, which I guess isn't all that common, isn't all that uncommon, right? You can't please everybody all of the time. But when you asked, well, what were these? Because you're probably looking to improve, right? And coaching is an evolution thing and different players. And they didn't give you an indication of what that might be.
No, it's a lot of it was, superintendent said, hey, you're a very passionate person on the sideline. You're a very passionate person. and I always say it's a 93-7 thing, right? 7% is coaching games, 93% is everything else. And he goes, we're having a good conversation here. I think a lot of the complaints are, why don't you have, why are you always yelling on the sideline? Why are you always this intense? Why don't you have these conversations with kids? I told him, I go, 93% of the time we're having these conversations. And it's not even basketball. I mean, I'm getting texts at 11 o'clock at night about just school topics and see if they can get my help on that. I go, I might yell and be very intense on the sideline, but that's nothing of what the rest of basketball is like. It's the bus trips, it's the one-on-one conversations. There's so much more to it. And I gotta, we don't really hear about that. We just, he goes, I can't comment on that. He goes, and the big thing I was left with was, you might be right on all this, but I have to side with whatever the kids tell me.
Yeah. Boy, that's.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Real quick.
And I hate to say it, Jeff, but you're bringing up a kid in this current environment, so it's a challenge. I imagine it's a challenge. It's always a challenge, but in this current environment, it's just a little different.
A couple comments here.
And some of it is imposed by New York State.
Right.
Let's not forget that.
Right,
I mean,
right. There's
if you can
rules,
see you see people all over the state complaining that there's a kid who has emotional issues and he's punching the teacher, and the principal comes in and he's punching the principal, and they cannot respond to it. They have to be careful about how they stop the kid from being violent.
Right.
So it's shared. It's not just parents, but parents play a major role. It's how you're bringing up your kids.
Let's see. First, second here, I have Joe in Whitesboro. I want to save this last comment here from somebody in Clinton here. Joe in Whitesboro says, these guys have to understand it's all about politics. They don't want you and not going to get you. Hang on. They don't want you and not going to get in, just like the women's, I believe, lacrosse coach in Poland. They never gave her an answer. Why politics is at its best. I'm not familiar with that story, and I hope I read that correctly.
I'm not sure it's politics. It's conceding to the way of the world today, and really, it's a whole different philosophy.
It is,
and
I think on the positive side, you're seeing way more support than we ever thought. When we put the petition out there, Danielle put it out there. We thought if we got 200 signatures, that'd be amazing, right? We're past 500 now. Yeah. We're on here. Sentinel did a great article. WKTV has a second story that's going to be airing very soon on this. So it's our parent. I'll say the majority
Absolutely.
through the years. Parents have been amazing.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'll just mention as well. I mentioned, I think when we talked about this in the first hour, that I support a district's right to make decisions like this, but it sounds like there's something missing, or it doesn't seem to add up exactly. Listen, Mike in Clinton says, if the Haydukes aren't good enough for the Clinton Central School District, then no one is. They are the most upstanding people I know, and if they're not good enough, who is? Just another example of, I'll read this. This was sent in. Just another example of the Hamilton College liberal agenda that has always affected common sense in the village.
Here is Joe Lode. I'm not sure that's a fair statement necessarily. But Joe Lode, good morning.
Hi, Bill. I have a public service announcement.
Okay.
Dayton Road in Remsen, the railroad crossing arms are down, and there's no train coming.
Oh.
So they must be stuck down, and there's already tracks. You can see where vehicles have gone around the gates and across the tracks. There are no tracks.
There is no train.
But the gates are down. So if we could get somebody out there on Dayton Road to fix it, that would be great.
Where is Dayton Road in?
It's right on Route 12 and Dayton Road, right at Evans Equipment.
Okay.
You know that nice Kubota dealership right there?
Good plug there, Joe. I heard that. I caught that. Nice.
They're nice people, those Evanses. They got their own road and stuff. You know?
All right. Well, they ought to get out there and fix those railroad tracks. Okay,
hey,
Joe.
Do I sound funny at all?
Do you sound funny? I've always thought you to be funny.
Well, no, it's that I'm toothless in the front, and I got a little lisp going on.
Oh, you're getting dental work? What happened?
Yeah, so about 10 or 11 years ago, Adirondack Family Dentistry, those Stalker brothers, Harold and Everett. They're amazing people. They were going to put teeth in Lance, the 40-year-old virgin.
I remember that.
Remember?
I remember his teeth were, yeah.
They were awful.
Yeah, they were bad.
But we tried, but he never showed up for the appointments.
Yes.
So anyway, about 10 or 11 years ago, I had a root canal done in the front tooth, and it was fine, lasted 10, 11 years. And then about a year and a half ago, it broke, so I looked like snaggletooth. So the fine people down there at Adirondack Family Dentistry put a crown on me. And beautiful. It looked great. It matched my other buck tooth, and I had no problems,
Yes.
But last year, the crown broke. Well, it got this, not that the crown broke, but it broke away from the snaggletooth that was left.
Yeah.
So they put a post in and then tried to fasten it that way, and it worked great for a year. And then 2 weeks ago, it started to feel a little loose, and then I was getting like really bad pain on the right side of my mouth.
Yeah.
So I was unable to talk. And you know me, I like to talk.
Oh, you're a talker. Yeah. Yeah.
And so they brought me in Monday, and he had to take the crown out, which was gut wrenching.
Yeah.
And then he had to take the actual tooth out, and so now I have a couple stitches, and I've got to go back today, and they're actually going to make a 3D tooth for me.
Wow.
Off a 3D printer, yeah. And then I'm going to have like a little partial, so for Halloween I could take it out again, and I could be Joe-a-lantern.
Okay, you could scare the kids.
Joe-a-lantern.
Am I correct in saying you're plugging a dentist right now? Is that what's going on? Yes.
The best pain-free dentistry I've ever experienced in my life, and I don't like dentists, but Dr. Harold and Dr. Everett are amazing. Their staff is incredibly friendly, and I don't know if they have appointments available because they're so good, they're always booked. But if you ever need anything, they're the people for
I
you.
think at this point, sales is going to send you a bill. I do think that's going to.
Two things. I think the dentist is plugging the gap in the front of his mouth right now. And also, before you go, can you say suffer and succotash, please?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that list.
God.
No, let's not make him say it.
All right, Joe. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And
Have a
get
great
those
day.
railroad things fixed there.
Okay. All right. All right.
Also, it's Mike Haydick's birthday today?
It is. I was about to say it's the 57th birthday of Dr. Mike Haydick.
Oh, it
today.
is.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I was just going to say, so, thanks for the opportunity being on here. We actually, we just got back from Colorado late last night. We had a family graduation, so flew through Denver yesterday. Got about 3 hours of sleep.
My son's in Denver, and there's no easy way. Denver is it's tough. There's just
you got
no
that
easy
direct
way.
flight.
There are direct flights now. Yeah,
so
that helps.
makes it easy. Great state. We're very happy to see my niece's graduation. And I would just end with, Gina and I, we chose to live in Clinton 27 years ago. We built a house out there. We absolutely love the community. It's been great. School system's been great. We're deeply involved in the community, deeply involved in addition to basketball. Our daughter coaches field hockey, varsity field hockey coach there. So it's been a great experience. This is a bump in the road. Hopefully we get over it. Hopefully we change course here and we carry on.
And if there's hope in the world, I do think that this is cyclical. And the pendulum swings until it swings into crazy, and then somehow finds its way back down. I hope that's the case. Hopefully that the petitions and the people complaining and really standing up for you. I hope the board is able to look at this in a positive light. Not that you're out there against them, but you're trying to stand up for your legacy. Of what
and that's all I really care about.
And what you're passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, all I really care about is making sure the kids have, not only the best time on the court, but also off the court, right? It's the stuff you miss, right? It's the planning for charity events. I told the story the other day. We do a food drive every year. We do a game. We wear Christmas sweaters. It looks like the dumbest thing ever, but it's the best, right? We have everyone who's in attendance bring a canned good. And the thing I learned this year is one of the kids goes, well, what do I bring? I go, well, you're about to find out, because me and Dad are going to put up a bunch of money. We're going to send, instead of us going to the grocery store, you're going to go to the grocery store. And it was a great life lesson, because I got texted for about 2 hours. Coach, do they need this? Do they need that?
Yeah.
Coach, we're over budget. What do we do? And then I get a text. I was like, I was just going to call someone at the store and give them my card. Don't worry, Coach. Someone saw what we were doing, and they gave us more donations for food.
That's wild.
And, just them figuring out, hey, the food bank needs this, it needs that. They wouldn't have known, and it's just things you learn along the way of, I wish I'd done this previously.
Yeah.
We sent 5 kids. 2 of them said they'd never been to the grocery store before.
Wow.
And that's the stuff that I really enjoy about coaching. I love about coaching.
I'm not even going to touch the never been to the grocery store part before, but
it's a different world.
We don't want our kids to be bored, right? That would be an awful thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Anyway, good luck.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you telling your story, and I hope it all works out.
Thank you so much.
All right. And happy birthday.
Thanks.
All right, Beth, what's coming up next? I know you know.
Well, we got a double whammy from the Oneida County Public Market. We're going to have somebody from one of our community partners, the Utica Comets, on the phone, and then my second hand at the market, Audra.
Audra,
will
right.
be in studio.
Okay.
I hope those kids who hadn't been to the grocery store, it's because they spent all their resources at the public market.
That would
be a good thing. That would be a good thing.
That would be a good thing. All right, quick break. We'll come back 8:32 at WIBX.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Little Falls Lumber has everything you need for home improvement season. They're fully stocked with secondary grade metal in all colors, available in 12-foot lengths and affordable solutions for sheds, garages, and roof repairs. Tired of digging through warped boards at the big box stores? At Little Falls Lumber, you'll find only premium grade lumber, hand-selected for quality. They also carry roofing, siding, windows, doors, and much more. Visit Little Falls Lumber in Little Falls in Syracuse. Call 315-823-2470 or go to littlefallslumber.com.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Contractors and landscapers, be able to take on more jobs and get your current projects done with Warner Sales and Service. Whether it's the tough lifting and digging or the more precise work with attachments, Warner Sales and Service has the Bobcat rental to make sure your projects get done. Tough work demands tough equipment, so stop in today at Warner Sales and Service, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona, and at WarnerSS.com.
Where quality still counts at Warner's.
Did you know your most treasured rugs can look new again? At ABC Chem Dry, we specialize in premium area rug cleaning. From treasured family heirlooms to fine rugs from around the world, our trained specialists use a careful 5-step process inspecting, dusting, cleaning, drying, grooming, and protecting, so your rug always gets the expert care it deserves. Don't wait. Call ABC Chem Dry today at 315-738-1111 to schedule a drop-off or pickup.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, host of Fox Across America. We're talking politics, pop culture, and comedy, minus all the rage and finger-pointing. It's real talk for real people who just want to laugh, think, maybe learn something along the way. So join the fun weekdays at noon right here on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, Central New York's home for talk that's smart, honest, and just the right amount of crazy. Fox Across America with your main man, Jimmy Fallon.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
You want to add anything to that, Jeff? being the only parent in the room.
No.
Well, the only parent is somebody under 18.
Who currently has, yes, someone.
Yeah, right. I
well
mean, you
under
guys
18.
are parents. It's a lifelong commitment. No, I can I actually. You know what? Let me say one thing and
because it's your generation that's getting the bad rap.
That's
it's
fine.
This generation of kids that is being brought up that's getting the bad rap, and in some cases that's very unfair.
Well, no, I just want to say this. I had the opportunity. My son is in the band at a local school district. I've mentioned it before, but I don't have to mention it right now necessarily. Actually, I will, because I was so moved by what they did last night. They had like their concert.
Yeah.
So it was the band. It was Whitesboro Central School District, and it was the 4th and 5th graders. And I think all of the parents and family members in attendance last night were more than proud. Okay, those young students did such an amazing job. Not only the band, but the chorus as well. Actually, I almost wanted to get up and start singing with the chorus. They were so good.
Yeah.
But I was
glad
just.
You didn't. I'm really glad.
So are they.
Yeah.
They're really happy I decided to stay in my seat. So, but those young boys and girls were phenomenal last night. So just a tip of the cap to them. And I guess maybe that's my way to put a positive spin on what we kind of talked about during the break.
The other thing I want to say is there are times when a parent needs to step in.
Yes.
But you have to kind of balance it to make sure that your kid is fixing their own problems, because if they don't
and
learn
not creating
to do that,
their own problems,
well, and create their own, and they while fixing it, they may create their own problem. So you can guide them and what have you, but they got to be able to fix their own stuff. But there are scenarios where they don't have a chance, and there's something bad happening, and you have to step in, and so don't confuse the two. Sometimes, there are horrible things that are happening, and a parent does need to step in. But you got to allow some independence.
Mm-hmm.
So hats off to West Road.
Nice.
The teachers there and the students especially. They did a phenomenal job. I also want to say in co-parenting, sometimes it can be difficult, but ironically, there are times where we have come down much harder on our son than the district has in a behavioral situation. Mm-hmm. And there are other times where the district came down hard and we told them, you're not punished at home for what happened there because we think you handled that appropriately. It's sometimes you got to stand up for yourself, whether or not the teacher thinks it's appropriate or not. It's a bigger picture. So I just everybody keep doing your best.
Let's switch gears. Beth, I'm going to let you do the intros here.
Oh, do we have two intros or one?
You have two. We have Melissa. And I don't know if you can see across from you, but Audra is here.
I did see her sneak in.
I did.
Yeah.
I think you saw her.
We have Melissa LaFleur, who is with corporate sales with the Utica Comets organization.
Hello, Melissa.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
And we also have in studio with my right hand at the market on Saturday mornings, Audra Benincasa, who is going to be talking about what we have coming up for the 2026 summer season.
All right. So how are we? Are these two different topics? I guess I'm confused.
They are. And we're kind of grabbing people based on availability.
Got it.
Melissa is. We're having a big. May is Beef Month, so we are having a beef tasting at the market on the 30th. Come on down. We're going to be featuring some MVCC culinary arts students who are going to be preparing some cuts of meat from some of our meat vendors, different cuts,
nice.
Different preparations. Come down and do some sampling. And the Utica Comets wants to continue to. They've always supported the market. We're bag square strong. So they've been a great partner. Roscoe, our market mascot, has been down at the Nexus Center a few times for soccer games and for some hockey games for the Halloween celebration. So there's been a great mutual community partnership there for a number of years, and we wanted to shine the spotlight on that a little bit, and they agreed to be part of the sample serving with us on the 30th.
Melissa, it's a big weekend. Is there the market is outdoors for the first time this year?
Yeah, hopefully the weather stays nice for it. Fingers crossed on that, but we're really excited to be a part of it.
And then, and what are some of the things that you do during the summer, during the off season? I know that the Comets being involved in the community is a big deal. This is a great example of that.
Yeah, we we look for experiences like this throughout the summer to be a part of the community and to spread the awareness of the Utica Comets, but then also we have a lot going on at the Adirondack Bank Center itself. For example, the rodeo is the biggest event that we have during the summer. And then other than that, it's just preparing for next season. It just never stops.
On a rodeo note, last night we started watching, what's the name of the new series? The rodeo, what's the name of it?
That sounds like a Davy question.
Well, forget it. I can't remember. Just forget it. Rodeo.
Tried to have a moment there, but
with the old antiques.
No, the new show, the big show, and they've now reinvented the show without Kevin Costner.
Oh, Yellowstone spinoff.
Is now the spinoff is now what was their last
Dutton
name?
Ranch.
Dutton Ranch. Damn it all. Sorry.
Boy.
I feel like a
Just
really old person that can't put two words together. The Dutton Ranch we saw last night. And I was thinking of the rodeo here as they were showing a rodeo part of episode 1 ends up at the rodeo
and one of the things that I know that Melissa's involved in through the organization is that we've been participating in the first Wednesdays, Wednesday Wellness Wednesdays, I guess they call them, at the Nexus Center, where they open up the facility and they have a walking trail that the general public can come in, and they invite community organizations. And we've been happy to be one of those organizations that sets up a table and kind of helps to get the word out. And if you want to be in the community, you got to be part of the community.
That is true. Melissa, a plug for the rodeo, when that is and how people can get tickets and all of that.
Yeah, this year it's July 31st and August 1st. Tickets just went on sale last week, so you can visit the Utica Comets page. They'll have a link there where you can call the office.
All right, good stuff. And that's a wild event inside the odd. Melissa, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
And in studio is Audra, and this is a big weekend. You guys are outdoors. Oops, sorry, you're live.
Yeah, it is our opening weekend this Saturday, May 23rd, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have some great vendors. We're going to be really packed this summer. The spring growing season is just beginning, so we have your classic spring vegetables that are probably going to be featured at the market. We got probably rhubarb and asparagus, some of those maybe garlic scapes and fiddleheads potentially.
Yeah, fiddleheads are what?
They're kind of like a spiral shaped.
I've seen them. I just don't know what they.
Baby ferns. They're baby ferns.
Baby ferns. I just didn't know what they were.
They're native to the area. Okay. Fiddlehead people who are into local foraging look forward to spring for fiddleheads and ramps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had them, but I'm always willing to try something new.
Okay.
They're good. If you like greens.
How do you cook them? Like a little garlic
you can
and
saute
oil,
them. Yeah, that's how you just saute them.
Okay. And of course, meat is a big thing. You're getting, where you're getting it from.
Yeah, we have a great selection of meat vendors, from pork and beef to some chicken and goat as well. So they are super local and super fresh. So we'll be highlighting the beef producers on May 30th, which is the second market of the year. But you can get it anytime.
All right. Have you ever eaten the goat?
As a vegetarian, I have not.
I've tried goat. I can honestly say I probably won't ever try it again.
It's a bit gamey.
It's goaty.
It's a bit goaty.
Well, I mean, but
lamb.
It is more. You're right.
Lamb is a delicate approach to that, but the goat is a little stronger.
But a couple things. It is more gamey. So anybody who's out there who eats venison or buffalo or anything like that, but it's also how it's prepared. Like I mean, I've had bear that melted in my mouth, but it was because it was marinated for like 5 days.
Yeah.
So it's really a preference, but most of the rest of the world eats more goat than they do beef.
Yeah. Right.
So
is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Not necessarily for me, but hey,
to each their own.
That's right.
Goat. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Speaking of goat, we have Ryan Nobles who's coming up in a second. Greatest of all time?
Yeah. Sure.
Again, this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend at Utica's Union Station, the train station. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. behind the station.
All
Bring
right.
your reusable shopping bags and favorite drink.
Audra, thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank
it.
Is escarole something that can be grown, and is it grown locally?
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I want to experiment making some Utica greens, and I would love to get all the items for it at the farmer's market.
You know, someone told me that in all of the United States, more escarole is sold in the Utica Rome market than anywhere else
I'm
in
not
the country.
surprised.
Get the rest of the world a sample
about
of
it.
Utica greens,
You'd see
and
why.
there would be so much more demand for it. It's
Ryan-
such a good dish.
Ryan Nobles, good morning. I was trying to come up with some sort of a goat transition, and I don't know. I gave you a Tom Brady there. I can't believe
your
it.
guess to really affirm it. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know, Ryan.
Right.
Pretty good of all time. Greatest? I don't know. Actually, you have. This has been a week for you. You've been from inside the Oval Office to a guest on Meet the Press and et cetera, et cetera. You've been busy.
Yeah, and last night we did a 6-hour primary show with the primaries in Georgia, in Texas. Well, actually not Texas. Texas ended up being a story, but Kentucky being the big one with Tom Massey going down as Trump continues his political retribution campaign. So yeah, we're entering in a very, very busy period of time here as we get closer and closer to the midterms.
This is interesting because Trump has made a few endorsements that are not necessarily the Republican Party does not agree with. One of them is right here in Elise Stefanik's district. Robert Smullen, who is a veteran, very decorated, great deal of experience, not endorsed. Instead, he endorsed Constantino, who Rudy Giuliani says is just like Donald Trump. But that's not the only one around the country, right, that he has made.
Yeah, that's right. And I think last night was a good example of that the president has decided that he is just going to pick the people he likes and is not concerned whether or not that helps or hurts the Republican Party in the upcoming midterms. And he's also expending a tremendous amount of resources and personal investment of time to get these candidates over the finish line. You know, in Kentucky last night, he decided that he was done with Tom Massey for a wide range of reasons. His insistence on releasing the Epstein files, his vote against the Iran war, his vote against the Big Beautiful Bill. President Trump just had enough. And so he had endorsed an opponent of Massey before, was unsuccessful. This time he put the full weight of his political apparatus behind him. They're going to spend probably close to $35 million when it's all said and done to replace a Republican with another Republican. Tom Massey votes with Donald Trump 95% of the time. And that's not enough for Donald Trump. You got to vote with him 100% of the time. And so I think if you're looking at some of these other races across the country, when you talk about New York, I think of the Mike Lawler district, where Mike Lawler represents, I think, one of only 4 districts in which Republicans own a seat that was won by Kamala Harris. You have to wonder if Mike Lawler's wondering why isn't some of that $30 million being spent in my race, which would be integral to us keeping the majority as opposed to all this money being spent in Kentucky. And then the other big decision that I think is a lot of people scratching their heads that Trump made yesterday was his endorsement of Ken Paxton over John Cornyn in the race for Texas. You know, I think all the experts who closely watch this, they very much consider Texas a reach for Democrats. Well, Donald Trump made it a very gettable reach with the endorsement of Paxton. Cornyn is a proven vote getter there. He likely would have won. It might have been a tough race, but he likely would have won against James Tallarico, who's this emerging Democratic candidate. Ken Paxton's got a ton of baggage, and it's going to be hard for him to raise money, and it's going to be now a battleground which Republicans are going to have to invest heavily in to make sure they can keep that seat when they could be spending that money in places like North Carolina or in Georgia, where they either have seats to protect or seats to try and flip.
I think it's going to be very interesting. What is Stefanik's is the 21st, right? And that seat is it leans certainly Republican, but it'll be interesting to see how Republicans in this primary vote. Do they follow Trump's lead and go with this this character, Anthony Constantino. Republicans here wanted the endorsement to go to Smullen because they feel Smullen can beat the Democrat, who's a farmer, moderate, could really be, in my opinion, could be a Democrat or a Republican. So the feel is very similarly that the endorsement of Constantino, if Constantino wins, he may struggle beating Gendabine, who's the Democrat in the race.
Well, I'll tell you two things, Bill. One, I don't think there's any hope that a non-Trump endorsed candidate can win in a primary like that one in New York's 21st district. Trump's power within the Republican Party is all-consuming. There's just no evidence that a non-Trump-backed candidate can win in a Republican primary.
Yeah.
So maybe Mullen is somebody that can buck that trend, but we put up a graphic last night. I don't think that he's lost a race yet. Where he's endorsed a Republican candidate in this election cycle. Now, last night in Georgia, his candidate didn't make it over the 50% threshold, so that's one that we're looking at in the race for governor. But he just wins every single time. His power within the Republican Party is absolute. Now, the question is it going to be damaging enough in a state or in a district like New York's 21st district, which is overwhelmingly a Trump district? Trump won that district 60% of the vote, almost a 40-point margin. And so it's very hard to imagine, even if he picks a candidate that the party apparatus feels is a flawed candidate, that the Republicans would not come out and support someone in that race. Now, the wild card with all of this, Bill, as we've talked about before, is that all the data is showing us that this has the potential to be a wave election. The Republicans or Democrats are going after seats that Donald Trump won by 13 points. This race is still outside of that window, which means that, the Democrats are likely not going to get much support from the National Party. But, man, we're in a cycle where anything can happen. Yeah. And you'd think you'd want the very best candidates running in all of these races if you want to have any hope of keeping the majority.
One thing to keep a note of in the 21st is the number of independents. There are a lot of independents, which helped carry Trump in his last election. Manaski.
First a comment, then a question. Incredibly disappointing for me. I'll just speak for myself. Extremely disappointed. And I know that these were controversial people, but Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I often disagreed with, but those were the two vocal opponents of Trump when it came to the Epstein files, and I think led the charge to get that passed. And now both are going to be gone. I know MTG, it was her own choosing, and she was nuts, I think, on other issues, but that's a very important issue to a lot of people, and it's unfortunate that both of them are gone now. My question is, whatever happened to that second batch of Epstein files? And now that this has happened, essentially it's been shown you will be disciplined if you go against me on this issue. Will we ever hear or see any more files on Epstein again now?
I think it's a great question, Jeff. There is somewhere in the range of 3 million files that the Department of Justice has said that they're just not going to release for whatever reason. They say they could potentially be part of a pending investigation, or they could release or provide information about the victims that are involved in it.
Yes, let's identify the victims, not the pedophiles.
Yeah. That's not enough for the victims, I think, who would like to see this stuff released. I do think that there has clearly been a retribution campaign on behalf of Trump. I don't think the Massey situation was only the Epstein files, but I think that was the thing that kind of pushed him over the hill. Also, the fact that Massey was so willing to work with Democrats to buck the president, to get that discharge petition on the floor that led to it ultimately getting put out there. Trump is annoyed by the fact that the Epstein files continue to be something that he has to deal with. And the answer to your question is, will we ever see the rest of the Epstein files? I do think it will take a change in leadership for that to happen. And I don't know if it's enough for it to change, meaning the Democrats win back the House, if that will be enough, because then they would have a greater subpoena power, have the potential to hold the Department of Justice in contempt if they do not follow through on it. Or does it mean that it becomes a huge issue in the 2028 presidential race? I think people often forget that the number one driver of the release of the Epstein files was a guy by the name of Donald Trump. He was the one that pushed for it. That brought him in a huge amount of support from a group of dispirited folks who really did not have a political home. They jumped on the Trump bandwagon because he was so insistent that the Epstein files be released. And a lot of those influencers who were supporting Trump in that effort have gone quiet. And I do think you see Republican voters in particular falling in line behind the president. But that, Republican voters are not enough to win the midterms, and they're certainly not enough to win the 2028 presidential campaign. And so I've told you guys many times, the Epstein issue is not going away no matter how much Donald Trump wants it to.
Wasn't there a law passed that said they had to release it?
Yes. But the issue here is who is enforcing that law. And you're basically telling the Department of Justice that they have to release this by law, but it is the Department of Justice that would enforce that law. Now, that changes if there are different enforcement mechanisms and different people put in different positions. And so I think that the thing that the people in the Department of Justice have to be concerned about is that they're not going to be in the Department of Justice forever. Pam Bondi is no longer the Attorney General. Todd Blanche won't be the acting or even the Attorney General forever. At some point, they'll leave those jobs, and they could be prosecuted for not following that law. That is a real thing that could happen. And so there's still incentive for them to follow the law, even though Donald Trump's putting a tremendous amount of pressure on them not to.
So I was watching a Republican strategist who said, listen, one thing that people don't understand about Washington right now, and I'd like your opinion on this, is that the average Republican legislator does not support Donald Trump. They just feel they have no other choice. And that they are secretly, and again, this is a reach, but you tell me, they are secretly rooting for Democrats to take control, which they then will impeach, they then will prosecute, and you'll then see Republicans step in when they know that Trump cannot come back to bite them. Do you believe there's any truth to that whatsoever? That's a pretty big reach.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of fan fiction. Listen, I think in 2017, 2018, I do think that probably most Republicans up here on Capitol Hill were not huge fans of Donald Trump. Were kind of hoping that he would be a flash in the pan. That's not the case anymore. With each election cycle, the Republicans that come here to this building are increasingly ardent and true believers in Donald Trump. And so I think the majority of Republicans, if not the super majority of Republicans, genuinely like and appreciate and support Donald Trump. It's not just an act. Now, does that mean that they support every single thing he does? No, and I do think that many of them wish they had the license to separate themselves from him from time to time. Like, I know there's a lot of Donald Trump supporters that are not huge fans of his foreign intervention policies, but they're not going to say that publicly because you cannot cross him in any way, shape, or form.
And look at this. This is a good example of that. So.
Yeah, but the other thing I'd say to that, Bill, is there's no universe in which if the Republicans lose the majority in the House or the Senate, that there's going to be Republicans teaming up with Democrats to impeach or convict Donald Trump.
I really thought this was kind of pie in the sky. Ryan, out of time. We'll do it again. We'll be watching. Thank you, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 from the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
A Republican Trump critic in Congress primaried out. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Thomas Massie loses to the GOP challenger the president backed in Kentucky in the most expensive House primary race ever.
He stood against us, but he liked to just single out President Trump. All that to say, it's a new day. These people deserve better, and I'm going to give it to them.
Ed Galrain beat Massie by almost 10 points.
Massie's loss is yet another warning for Trump critics. The congressman had broken with the president on several issues, including the Epstein files and the Middle East. Yet Massie says he has no regrets.
We weren't running against Donald Trump. We were running for what we believe in.
Another Trump-backed candidate, Congressman Andy Barr, clinched the GOP nomination for Senate in Kentucky. He is seen as the heavy favorite to replace outgoing Senator Mitch McConnell.
Fox's Madeline Rivera and Georgia GOP Congressman Mike Collins and Derek Dooley advanced to a runoff in the campaign to unseat Democratic Senator John Ossoff. The president has not backed either Republican. Now, he claims candidates he supported yesterday in primaries in 6 states were undefeated, 37-0. A new AP NORC poll